Oh, click track. It's a fucking.
Yeah, you gotta. A true musician opens with a fucking click track.
How many BPM are we at?
120. That's the default of the project.
That's the butter zone.
It's pretty good. So let's discuss this drink that is being drunk. Where did you get that?
At a liquor store on 17th Avenue. I don't recall the name, however.
So it didn't leave an impression?
No, I just remember it by its location rather than its name. I recognize it according to its relations in space and time rather than a label they've given themselves. More of a cosmic recognition.
Is there a familiar face you can associate it with?
No.
Person?
They're very helpful.
Like
they come up to you when you come in. They're like, hello, can I help you find something?
You found a white guy working at a liquor store?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Well, it's in the,
I haven't seen that.
It's in the belt line.
Oh. I haven't seen that in like a decade.
They look like they're Antifa members.
And wines. Did he really say, hello, can I help you?
Yeah.
Smash the fash.
Okay, let's get off this liquor store bullshit. So I got a serious question that I've been thinking about because I was like, okay, well, there's going to be a marathon session. It's probably going to get kind of derailed. But I had an actual like concern about private property rights and how that relates to paleo-libertarianism. And I think that you guys could actually maybe shed some light on this. I think, what do you think of intellectual, like, intangible private property rights? Like, I don't really know how to. I listened to a recent James Lindsay podcast on like the problems of classical liberalism, and James Lindsay, take him or leave him, but I think that's one of the kind of the the biggest issues, right? Is like, okay, so like drugs or music or films or like blueprints, or like I had an idea that I want to like whack off on Sunday. Is that like a copyrightable idea? Like, it seems to me that intellectual property rights are kind of like this weird like legal like these kind of abstract rights that have been arbitrarily created by the state. So I'm kind of interested to get your guys' perspective on that, because I just have a hard time reconciling everything. I think on the one side, if I come up with something really cool, shouldn't I have some entitlement to some rights in that? But if it's an idea, and maybe it applies differently to like maybe a movie, because that's a physical thing. But what about copying stuff and digital information? So this is like just something that kind of arose for me that I have an issue with. So help me.
Okay, so the classic argument is put forth by Stefan Kinsella. He's a intellectual property lawyer in the kind of Austro-libertarian Misesian ambit, and he basically looked at Rothbard's argument, which was that a patent is illegitimate because it's basically just a rearrangement of matter that is restricted by a state privilege, where you get kind of a certain right assigned by the state, and it's kind of like an artificial restriction on other people's use of their property, so therefore illegitimate. But he said copyright, on the other hand, Rothbard said, was okay, because basically you're making a kind of contractual arrangement with someone that they can't, reproduce something without your permission or whatever. Kinsella basically argued, so the classic essay or book is Against Intellectual Property by him, and he said this is basically inconsistent. It's essentially the same thing. Like, Rothbard made kind of this artificial, untenable distinction between the patent and the copyright, because they both represent the same thing. They both represent basically, on one level, I could sell you like a book, for example, and say, I sell this to you on the condition that you can't like go photocopy it and sell it. But I can't really restrict other people's property from somehow like reproducing the same thing if I don't have a contract with them. So Kinsella basically argued against the inconsistency of Rothbard's artificial distinction between the two, where it's basically
kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, copyright isn't fundamentally different from the patent in that sense. So he says all intellectual property's got to go. And there's a lot of different arguments about, people would make like, oh, well, there might be some negative consequences if you can't copyright something or you can't patent something. And he argues against a lot of those utilitarian considerations. But either way, it kind of comes down to basically a property rights issue, and the fact that you can have a property right which gives you kind of exclusive dominion and control over certain physical goods that you arrange in a certain way, but you can't copyright an idea because it's not scarce. So the reason we need a property right in something physical is because my use of one resource, like this chair I'm sitting in right now, people cannot simultaneously like use that resource. That's what scarcity means. Like it's exclusive, even at the very least, like the standing space you require for your physical body, or this piece of metal, like my use and consumption of it precludes your use and consumption of it. So that's why you have a potential conflict there. Whereas the non-scarce resource, in the sense of like an idea, I can use an idea and I'm not restricting anyone else from using it. So there's not like an inherent conflict over something there. It's kind of like, and I think Thomas Jefferson makes this kind of analogy. It's kind of like you take a candle and you light someone else's candle. You haven't taken the light from the first candle. You just created kind of two lights. And really then it's not an issue of like the pure idea. It's just the property rights issue. You can use a piece of, like say there's an idea, say I have an idea for a story. And it's like, well, it's my idea for a story, but someone else takes the same idea and actually produces something with it. Like they make a book, they produce a physical book, or they write it on the internet or something. What have they actually stolen from you? Nothing. They've just used an idea, again, that you're not precluded from using, but you didn't produce anything. So it's like just kind of a different realm of things. And it comes down to the impossibility of a true conflict over non-scarce resources. It's like a super abundant good.
So take the Mickey Mouse thing, right? So I get it. Let's say there's, like your classic kind of like adventure story, and one of my buddies has been telling me about it. He's got some characters, and then I go out and I'm like, I'm gonna write a book about this. And then I write a book. But what if the idea is inherently unique and specific and has some kind of like unique properties or value that because I mean, I guess theoretically anyone could come up with Mickey Mouse, but they didn't, right? So do unique ideas not have any inherent value? And I'm just playing the devil's advocate because I have a really hard time. Like if I sell you a record and I'm like, you can't copy this record, you know what I mean? To me, the law of contract takes care of that because you're basically accepting a restrictive covenant over your use of the property, but the record itself is yours. You're just restricted on its use. So I don't have an issue with that. But, like let's say there's a song on there that's like maybe pretty unique. I'd kind of argue that music is fairly universal and doesn't have a lot of, there's not a lot of uniqueness to music or recording. Anyone can record anything, and it's pretty simple to duplicate any idea or theme or like melody or anything. But what about like an idea like Mickey Mouse? I know it's kind of a dumb example.
No, it's an interesting example, and it's coming up a lot. Like people are wondering about like Batman or Superman, and like certain forms of these characters are coming into the public domain soon. Mickey Mouse is kind of the one in the news now, but it's like, on the one hand, I would like for anyone to be able to make a Batman or a Superman movie or whatever,
right?
Or even Mickey Mouse or something, but I think in that case, again, it's if I create a character or something, I don't think
you have any inherent.
Nothing's being taken away from me in a physical or a right sense if someone uses the same character. Now, there's a fraud issue that could come into play. Like if I'm Johnny Mick creator and I create a character and I sell some stories about him, then someone else comes in and says,
I'm the authentic.
I'm Johnny Mick creator and I'm selling it. Then I'm kind of ripping off my customers because I'm not really like, there's kind of a fraud there. It's kind of like also, if I make a cola drink and I start calling it like Coca-Cola with the same packaging and I'm selling that to people, I'm kind of deceiving them. I'm kind of ripping them off from their money because I'm not really Coca-Cola.
So this is like the issue of like the equity in goodwill, right? And that's another intangible, or is it? I'd say it is because there's no, physical inherent property to like your good name. And I think like things like defamation and misrepresentation and like some of the kind of common law legal principles kind of set out a framework to deal with a lot of this stuff. But it seems to me that a lot of the intellectual property issues arise from when the government kind of arbitrarily grants people, kind of like first come, first serve rights over.
Well, like, why do they do it? So the idea was that companies would say to the government, like, yo, I'm going to spend a bunch of money making this thing that is technically in the common good, right? Like, it's good for all of us here. And it takes a lot of time, effort, and like work to like come up with these ideas, build prototypes, like figure it all out and build something.
Yeah. So doesn't that have value? Like, what if I put, and this is the pharmaceutical thing, right? Is so what if I put all of my, I spend a ton of resources that's like quantifiable and measurable into some radical new technology. And really it's an idea, right? So like maybe like the output is just a widget, but the widget has very, very unique and special properties, and it inherently kind of is a result of that investment in value. And then like some guy comes along and goes like, oh, reverse engineered, like rips it off.
Yeah.
And I just don't really know where to, because it feels wrong, but at the same time, I don't really think that it's really good to be circumscribing like these arbitrary rights to ideas.
So what
right?
do you see as the difference between that and a license?
Well, like one is, and I don't really want to call it stealing, but maybe just the fact that the widget exists has enabled me to be like, oh, okay, that's the answer. Like I just didn't know that, this is just the knowledge of the existence of the thing without actually being in a contract allows me to skip that R&D process.
Yeah. Well,
right. I mean, software could be like a big thing. Like software is a great example, right? So like Microsoft Word or something. And I mean, there's a million like word processors. And clearly there's, obviously if Microsoft could, they'd probably want to make sure that there's no like Corel, Scribe or like Open Office or like any of these janky, or like Google Docs. So they probably use the power of the state to box out their competitors.
I don't think they do. I think there's a reason why people use fucking Microsoft Word.
I hate Word. There's a reason
trash. Yeah, but if I walk into like, there's a lot of places that if you're like, oh, here's an open office Word document, they're like, what the fuck is that?
No, I like open office.
We're not in Brazil.
When you hit enter, you get a new line. It doesn't try to auto format for grandmother.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, like you can't leave it up to regular people.
Okay, so I got just kind of a funny anecdote for you. So, you know how in like every single like word processor program or even any program, you know how save as is like Control S?
Yeah. No, save as is Control A.
No, save as is usually Control S.
No, that's save.
Or no, Control Shift S.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, okay, whatever. So you're kind of wrecking my story, but in Corel Word Perfect.
Okay, start it over.
Guess what?
We'll chop it out. So
yeah, so it's all either a variation of Control S or Control A in every word processor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corel Word Perfect F6.
What?
Yeah. I wanted to get a shirt that said F6 because I worked at a law firm that was too cheap to get any. They had like this ancient like grandfather license for Corel Word Perfect. And just everything about the firm was F6. You'd be like, oh, why don't you guys do this? It just makes a little more sense. And then you just go, oh yeah, F6.
I remember when Corel Draw released, I think it was like version 6 and Photoshop existed at the time. And I was like, what are you doing? Just give up.
In Corel Word Perfect, and I can see why like old guys like it. Wherever you click the cursor appears there, and you can just type it.
Just in the middle of the fucking page.
F6, man. F6 for like anything in life that is unreasonable that you can't explain. It's just an F6, or maybe it's F7, but the principle remains.
The idea remains.
So back to this idea of intellectual property rights. I mean, is there?
So here's an idea. I'll just interject because this is where there's some implications that maybe can help the intuition. So you think like, oh, well, my work in creating something has to have some value, and therefore, through some way, there's like some right or some claim to that, and it's actually kind of like a Marxist sort of idea if you boil it down, because it's really like kind of a labor theory of value. Like it's not like the consumer that decides what is valuable. It's some kind of like input. So it's like the labor unit or something. So Labor theory of value isn't the same as the labor theory of property, but you can see how one would make the jump from one to the other. So like there's value in my work that I created something and I put some time into it, some sweat equity, so to speak. So therefore I should have like a property right to that. And that's kind of a trap because just like the labor theory is economically incorrect. The value of something doesn't come out of the labor somebody puts into it, contra the Marxist opinion. It's actually kind of that subjective, personal valuation that figures out kind of an economic value of something. But on kind of that argument, the implication just isn't there. So if there is no like value in the creation itself, you can't make the argument that there is some value, so you should have some claim to it or some property right tied to it. It's like, yeah, I would kind of put it that way.
Yeah, so I'd agree. Like the value is in the product, and the value comes from the consumer who is willing to interact or transact with you in order to get some benefit from your product or get a license or use it or buy it.
Yeah, like you see those cases where they seem like kind of silly lawsuits, but somebody comes out and they're like, "Hey, that movie that came out 5 years and made $1 billion, that was based on my idea."
Well, what about all the music lawsuits with like, you got some Ed Sheeran song and some guy from the 70s come out and he's like, man, that's
there's one bar that sounds pretty similar to a song I made. So I own that like bar of notes arranged in a certain way.
Yeah, so that's like pretty atypical copyright trolling, I would say. But
we would have to side with those people if we think like you came up with it, so there's value in that, and so therefore there's some kind of right to it. But really the thing that's on the one hand, if you don't create it, like what is there a right to? Somebody can take an idea and actually make something with it.
It would be pretty ridiculous to just lay claim to something because you thought of it first without actually producing it.
No, think about Ghostbusters and Huey Lewis's new drug.
So tell me about that, because I don't know anything about Ghostbusters.
Oh, he got the guy who made the
song.
Who are you gonna call?
So what happened there?
Didn't he copy something?
He copied, like fucking almost no for no copied New Drug by Huey Lewis. And the thing is, they wanted this.
Like that riff?
Yes. Yeah, he literally ripped off Huey Lewis. He sued him. Huey Lewis sued him.
Would we get a copyright strike for me going?
Oh yeah, pretty risky.
And he lost. But
okay, I think the Ed Sheeran guy lost too.
No, the guy Huey Lewis won because the judge was like, "Yeah, this is."
Oh, you ripped
this is
off
fucking,
my song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so who's that? That is it Adam Keeley or Adam something? There's some YouTuber guy that kind of like goes into this, and it's like, okay, so like, can you copyright C major with like a diminished third?
No, you can't.
Like, yeah, you can. Like, can you copyright like F sharp?
You can't. It's a frequency. It's almost impossible to.
But in like kind of a a more complex arrangement of notes.
What's the minimal amount of notes that you think is reasonable for someone as an artist to own or to have ownership over?
And this is the problem, right? Is like, I think it's kind of a retarded path to go down to make some arbitrary distinction and be like, okay, well,
maybe
the verse sounds the same, chorus is the same.
Danny California, Last Dance with Mary Jane. Dude.
But what if there's no distinction? Like, say somebody comes in, say you've recorded an album and you put it on the internet or whatever, and somebody goes and just takes your album, puts it on CDs or something, and starts selling the CDs. So the normal kind of intuition is that, like, well, you can't just take my songs and sell them and make money. That's like a violation of the law.
Well, I think it's the recording, right? It's the actual recording, and that there's property in the recording, because that's different than, like, let's say, one of you guys like painted a duck. And then I was like, oh, fuck, man, I got to get into this duck painting thing. And I paint and I try to mimic that exact duck. So it's like a duck in a bathtub. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to put mine in a bathtub. And I'm going to make it look the same, but it's going to be better so that I can sell my duck. Is that different from me just like taking your duck painting and just like reproducing it and selling it? Like, yes. I think it is.
I think it is. Like, what's a cover?
Yeah, I mean, and I think you should be able to almost.
How does the cover thing work? I've always wondered about that because you get like these cover albums, or sometimes there's a bonus track on an album and it's like a cover song.
Yeah,
and like
so
you go down to these shitty bars and there's some crap band doing like cover tunes.
So you can play live covers. It's my understanding that you can play live covers, and I could be totally wrong because it's so nebulous and confusing.
I always wondered about that.
Well, so you can play a cover without having to like license it or pay any royalties to the original artist, which is also dubious, as we've kind of learned, right? However, if you're going to sell a recording, current law would have you make sure that you obtain the rights, and usually you've got to pay them a royalty. So, and I feel like it's 18%, but I'm probably just
so that's like my bonus track on my album that I'm selling
as a quantity of the total work or of the entire work itself.
No, I think it depends. There's only so many distribution services. So like what for example, what I do if I want to do a cover, I upload it through my distribution service. Now, this is interesting too, because the distribution service is owned, I just found this out, partially owned by Spotify. So for Spotify's own inability to allow you to directly interact as an artist with their website, you have to use these third-party distributors that you also have to pay for. But that's the only way to get your music on Spotify. Spotify owns big chunk of these distribution companies. So
why wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, like I get it. They got to try to make back some of the money that they paid to like big artists or whatever to get them on board. Because like no one's going to want to listen to Spotify or like go on Spotify if like Katy Perry's not on there. You know what I mean? So in order to start the service, they had to make sure that everyone's favorite artist would be on there. Because then you're like, okay, well, I'll pay $10 a month to listen to Pink Floyd, you know? But I don't want to pay $10 a month to listen to Lord Nikon. I don't know. I'm sure maybe one person out there might. No. Okay.
Just back end.
Anyway, so pay me to listen to Lord Nikon. $10 a month.
So for covers, basically,
so what if you want to cover one of his songs? Like, what's his?
Yeah. So same thing. I'd have to like during the distribution upload thing. There's like a certain thing where it's like, okay, is this a cover? And then if you say yes. I use DistroKid, but they're all the same, like Tune Baby or TuneCore or CD Baby. There's a couple of them. I'm pretty sure Spotify's got shares in all of them.
But if you were going to cover a Lord Nikon song, you'd have to get an estrogen injection.
He's not in your register, bro. Come
on. Yeah. So then they go out and they secure the license before they'll put it on. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some shenanigans going on. Like, okay, so who owns the licensing company? They probably got to deal with the licensor to maybe take a part of what they're like, oh, hey, look, we're collecting royalties for you from these guys who are covering your songs. So once you get a license, I don't exactly know, but a portion of the revenue that would normally just go to the artist and to the distribution company for like collecting the royalties, a part of that goes to the original publisher of that original song. But if I go like, down to open mic night and want to play like, Lord Nikon covers all night,
he'd be so happy.
What a sick set.
Yeah, it'd be. I'm going to do that one day.
It's just 40 minutes of you sitting on stage eating Captain Crunch out of a soup bowl.
No, eating Burger King and bitching about how it costs $20 to get a supersized meal.
Every third bite, you look at the crowd. This costs $20.
Yeah, it's performance art.
Do you know that this costs $20?
He's a hero of our time.
I had to pay 15 cents for the bag.
Oh,
how many 15 cents have you been hit by since this law came into effect?
Just one so far.
I've only been asked once, yeah.
So we got a Calgary bylaw, which anyone who comes to visit this town is going to think we're like poverty-stricken and mentally handicapped.
That's because you guys are capitalist pigs and you don't understand.
I think it's a first in Canada. We can't have like a bag.
A paper bag.
Like, you're forced to buy it. You're forced to ask for it. I saw some guy going through the drive-thru ahead of me and they're handing him his items individually. And I wanted to burn down the entire city.
Yeah, I've I'm putting on a couple pounds. I've been through the drive-thru multiple times this week.
You're just getting into shape for your Nikon tribute album.
I haven't been to Burger King, but I've been to a couple of other unmentionable restaurants.
Couple Burger Bros.
So like they want you to take so first they shut
ask
down
you.
all the bags at the grocery stores. Like God forbid you get a freaking plastic bag to carry your stuff home and probably reuse at your home to dispose of nasty waste or some other practical use in your day-to-day life. Like plastic bags are really wonderful.
They're great.
Not to mention the fact that they are less burdensome to the environment because the inputs and resources consumed to make paper bags is absolutely ridiculous compared to plastic bags. That aside, it wasn't enough to ban the plastic bags, which, by the way, that whole single-use plastic thing was defeated in court by the capitalist corporate pigs who fought against it and beat the federal government. Nonetheless, that's not going to slow down the crazy people in Calgary City Council who need to fight plastic and paper bags.
Yeah, they're not even plastic.
I thought
they're
paper
paper
bags were like the way of the future and they were going to save us. But no, you can't have that anymore. It's just humiliating. It's like, here's the nice burger you ordered that I'm handing to you with my greasy ass hand, not protecting it in any way from the cold elements of the winter.
Here's a
it's just
question
in
for
a bag.
you. Do you really want to be handed a burger where the guy was previously handling some like dirt bags, like multi-time use Safeway bag with like shit stains
it's
on
disgusting.
it?
It's despicable. And it's like going back in time. It's just ridiculous. And I mean, I hope it goes away in some way. I hope it gets challenged. Like, it's a huge customer service problem. It's just disgusting, like, using those reusable bags all the time. Like, those things are, like, filthy. They're like the disgusting virus masks that people wear that are, like, basically shit-stained, like, disgusting, filthy masks. And these are, like, the equivalent of that for carrying all your stuff. Like, plastic bags are clean, disposable.
Okay. Well,
nice.
Here's one of the counter arguments. It's only 15 cents. The sky is falling. I read that on Twitter and as some like a fiery retort. Someone's like, it's only 15 cents.
I'm owed your money, bigot.
Yeah, fuck. Why don't you want to do it? You don't have an extra 15 cents?
Do it for the environment.
It's part of this, like, it's part of this sadistic drive within the left to just humiliate you and make your life worse and make you like suffer for some goal that they've established for, that's imposed upon you. And it's like
this is a beard tax.
It is the beard tax. We did a whole episode about the beard tax.
That you need to tax beards.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an arbitrary thing where you're like, I'm just going to, if you want to have a beard, it's going to be 25 cents.
$10 a month, buddy. Let's go.
Well, they
Turn
think
out your
they're
pockets.
like, it's just amazing the crusades that these people go on. Like, how did this thing even start? And
who wanted it?
I mean, it's just crazy.
Who
like,
voted for it?
Well, so that's a good question. Going back to the last civic election, like, how did we get handed this council?
Because
like, how did this happen?
the so-called, for lack of a better term, more right-leaning candidates had divided votes, whereas everything on the more left-oriented side converged around, like, they control their situation. Like, they don't allow competitors. They've chosen their designated ruler. It's Giotti, and she's gonna get the leftist attention. But the right naturally tends to be a little more fragmented and difficult that way. So, it's just divide and conquer. It's one side converges around one option and the other ones are scattered around other options.
It's because there was a unifying political action committee.
Big cities also, of course, tend to be more left for a variety of reasons. And that's why we have these crazy left-oriented city councils that are just out of control. But, political power is very concentrated in cities. The more inner city you get, the more leftist it gets. And there's just this natural tendency in the way the whole system is oriented where you get, even in a place like Alberta, like a province like Alberta, we've got the most conservative province in the country. But you look at the big cities, the governments of the big cities, like Edmonton is just insane. And then Calgary's barely better.
Do you think Calgary's better than Edmonton?
Oh, for sure. Undoubtedly.
I don't know.
Just look at the provincial results. Edmonton is 100% NDP. And
it's the seat of government, though.
That's where the big provincial government employees are. We know they're the worst voters. They just tend to be very orange-leaning, we'd say, in our context. And then Calgary has more of a corporate business orientation, and that counts a lot. But you look at even how, like, that provincial election broke down. It's really, like, strongest conservative / right leaning in the southeast part of the city. Inner city and kind of the other quadrants are more left leaning, and it's a problem. But just something about the urban world is left wing by nature, and like you can see it in every way, whether it's the virus panic and the way people behave rurally versus urban, even in big conservative Alberta. So many just other aspects of it all. The fact that they could even propose this crazy paper bag bylaw and all that.
I don't even think they proposed it. They just implemented it. Yeah,
it just appeared. But it's like, who asked for it is always the question with these things. Like, and it's because
the short answer is your betters.
Exactly. And they're so confident about their right and moral sanction to rule over others and make decisions for them that they don't even think twice about these things.
I think it's, and like I said, I think it's like sadistic.
It is sadistic, and that's why Colonel Ledeen would argue that like Marquis de Sade is like kind of the icon of modern leftism. It is inherently sadistic. It wants to like crush other people. It wants to humiliate them. It wants to make them bend the knee. It wants like kiss their feet.
What good is a sword left in its scabbard, dude? What good is power if it's not exercised? For any reason. Not just for the good, but like to remind you every time you get yourself a burger.
So that's the thing. Like a virtuous person with power isn't looking to crush other people. Like power, of course, is a problem because it can corrupt you. But somebody who has power who, feels envy or lacks virtue, they want to destroy. They want to punish. If you're a virtuous person with power, you want to help, and you're not going to be sadistic or punishing to those below you.
And that's why they'll never be voted for.
So do you think there's actually like some sort of like maybe not noble, but like, do you think there's actually any semblance of like good intentions behind some of this stuff? Or do you think it's I don't know, like, do you think it's just like, hey, fuck you, I hate your McDonald's, you poor piece of shit.
My non-schizo opinion is the first.
Is it non-schizo? Like, what about like the like EVs by 2035? Like,
my schizo interpretation is that it's just about rubbing their balls in your face and just being like, oh, you want a burger? Oh.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a teabag thing, because it's like, well, I get to go to fancy fine dining in a French restaurant. There are no bags there. It's more environmentally friendly, but God forbid you want a double cheeseburger.
Fuck the plebs, man.
Or maybe it's a ploy to be like, okay, dude, you're getting too many burgers. You need a bag for all of them. Like, shouldn't you just be able to just get handed your burger?
Whoa, that's a bit. Burgers.
Yeah, don't even give me a box with the Big Mac. just put your dirty hand on my sandwich and hand it to me.
There's this scene in a Kenny
Give me each French fry individually with your hand.
Oh, you just get banned immediately. Like, I'm sure these stores are already pissed off.
Oh, totally. It's total pain in the ass.
That's where the balls in the face comes back, dude. So it's like, I own 3 McDonald's in the downtown core, and somebody's like, oh, balls in your face.
So there's an episode of Kenny versus Spenny, and it's just like, who can piss off more people? And one of Spenny's bad ideas is he's in like this ice cream truck, and he's making people these really shitty ice cream cones. Yeah. Like normally go to get like an ice cream and it's like a nice DQ, like nice juicy. Well, he's just like kind of farting it in and being like, here you go, like $10. And there's this big fat guy in a suit. He's like, oh, I'd like, and he's like, well, what flavor do you want? And he's like, well, I want chocolate and vanilla. And he's like, it's swirl. And so he pours a little bit and he hands it to him. And the guy's like, can I get a little more? Like, it's just a little bit. And Spenny like pushes it back at him, and it fucking goes all over the guy's suit. It's a pretty classic moment. But I can see some guy like going to McDonald's and then being like, sir, would you like the bag for 15 cents? And he's like, no, I got a greasy bag in the car here you can use. And then gets to the drive-thru and just shoves this greasy, like throws it through the drive-thru menu. Here, take this bag.
He's like, no, just put it in my pocket, you fucking idiot.
So
it's like the concentration camp mentality where the Nazis are making their prisoners carry rocks from one end of the camp to another for no reason other than to make them do it. It's to enhance your misery. It's to make you know who your masters are. It's like, it doesn't even have to explicitly be their goal, but it's like kind of the animating spirit behind like all this stuff. It's this tyrannical mentality. It's like the busybody mentality. They cannot leave you alone. It goes back to this whole thing like, some people just want to grill. Leave me alone, man. Some people are not going to leave you alone. Their goal in life is not to leave you alone. That argument will fail on these people. They want you to do what they command.
So here's the inevitable kind
That's
of
what the virus thing was all about. Like, look at all the theater we participated in. It was partly humiliating, partly just an exercise of like vulgar power.
I've been thinking about that a lot. I think it was actually like
a test.
No, think about like what a true government could do, like a real government. You think a real government has any fucking problem locking down its borders?
No, not at all.
And like China couldn't even do it. Everyone thinks like, oh my God, everything's controlled over there. They're on your phone. They're upping your shit. You have a credit score.
They had very controlled internal borders, but they were happy letting people fly around internationally.
Pretty interesting, right? Meanwhile, and they knew they were literally building, taking government money from the United States, building bioweapons down there. And, they can't even just close the door. They can't even do that. And so they're like, oh, fuck, man. If people found out that we did this, we paid for it, we made it, and that at some point, because now they're like, oh, yeah, they got these ACE2 receptor fucking humanized mice that if they catch this cold, they're fucking dead, 100% mortality. Everybody's fucking beaten off because they're like, man, fuck, this is awesome. Like, they're going to do it again. They're gonna fucking lock it all down.
Is that disease X?
That's disease X, buddy.
Is there a thing such as disease X?
There is, and it will be made, and that's it. So was this done like...
Is this
like,
another thing, though, like the bird, which is the bald eagle?
But like, does it matter whether they made it and it got out or they made it and they let it out? It doesn't really matter. But they couldn't stop it. Like, all governments can't even do basic fucking things.
Okay, well,
that we consider authoritarian. They can't even fucking do that. But they can make you wear a fucking mask. We're in control.
Well, hold on. But this is interesting because I'm constantly let down by like the pessimism of watching these like authoritarian, type moves by all governments. But I always come back to something that one of my friends here has always kind of drummed into me, and that's the ineptitude of government no matter what happens. So we saw during COVID, and this is like kind of interesting. So I got two examples that I think will be kind of interesting for you both. So one of them was, okay, so like the mask and the COVID, just the general COVID mandate. So you saw legions of people just voluntarily sign up for this stuff. But one thing that was really interesting in Alberta is, for example, there's a ton of restaurants who are like, no, I'm not going to close. And the government's like, oh, you better, or like, you have no idea what's coming down on you. 2 years later, no convictions. And like, they threw, the director of special prosecutions, like their top dog lawyer against like one of the greatest examples is the whistle stop, right? Like, they're like, you can't open your restaurant. And he's like, I'm having a rock concert. You want to come? And they're like, you can't do it. We're going to come and we're going to like shut you down. And he's like,
protest.
He's like, I'm also having a cookout movie. Like, how about that? Like, we're going to have a protest cookout.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're going to shut you down. Acquitted of all, like 9 charges, acquitted because of government ineptitude. So here's another.
That wasn't just government.
Yeah.
But you can do the actions.
A good legal system would have fucking...
Probably not. No, I don't know. Because I mean, there's a whole bunch of technical considerations, advocacy, rules of evidence. So it's a little more complicated than I'm letting on. But here,
we just got to get rid of those.
So here's the other example that I think is actually really funny. Okay, so COVID's at the height. The federal mandates come in saying that you can't cross the border if you're not vaccinated. Wham. 100 truckers clog the border. Right. And they're like, oh, you guys better not block the border. Like, we're the government, will remove you.
Yeah. Or what?
They have no gear to remove that many trucks on the highway. So as they sent down like the heavy urban,
military
like everybody. Right.
Yeah.
So it's my understanding, and again, I could be wrong, could be speculation, but I've got a little bit of knowledge, maybe not as much as I'd like, but apparently the only gear that the government has to remove that much shit from the highway
is a bomb.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, but like non-destructively. Like they're not going to be, because you even saw on Twitter, people are like, just blow them up or something. Like, just get them. Like, just get them.
Dude.
So the only thing that they had were like 2 ancient vehicles that they use for like pulling broken down tanks out of like the ditch on maneuvers. And I think they had like 2 of them up in like Cold Lake or something. And they're like, well, we better bring these tank maintenance vehicles down to move this up. But they're like totally incapacitated. Like,
yeah, they were done.
And here's the whole thing is even if you arrest all the drivers, their stuff is still on the highway. So for all the money in Canada, all the money in Alberta, a couple of guys in some big heavy trucks basically kind of won the day, despite helicopters, TAC units, armies.
It doesn't take that much resistance because the government's always in the minority. It doesn't really have as many resources as could be marshaled against it. It's just the mob or the people or the resistance is always kind of fragmented, and it's very risky, especially at the margin. Like, if you're the first guy to resist, you might be in trouble. But
if you're the only truck, they might be able to get you. But like, look what happened in Ottawa, right? Where, okay, they actually do have like semi-truck. The guys in Alberta, nobody would help them. In Ontario, they had to promise them anonymity and like indemnities, and like they're like, well, we'll protect you. We'll put stuff over your vehicle so no one knows who you
legendary.
are. And because no one wanted to do it at first, but I guess here's the whole thing is like the government's answer to this has been subterfuge and propaganda and trying to prevent these types of uprisings against them. So how do those principles get applied to like the 15-cent bag thing?
Well, there's we talk about this a lot. It's like, where do you draw the line? It's really hard to predict where people will in fact draw that line, but it's the basic, kind of public choice problem. It's there's a lot of people who have a lot to gain for doing something, even if it's only like the wielding of power, which is for some people a great pleasure in itself. There might not be any, financial benefit per se, but even power is like a drug to some people. For most of the victims, it's just kind of the economic calculation. Like, it's not worth it for me to put my time into this and fight it. And they don't even know how to fight it, even if they wanted to. They can
just boycott, like, cook your own meal, fatty.
Like, look at the federal ban. So look at the federal ban. It wasn't fought by the single-use plastic ban, which Ottawa and the eco-terrorist environment minister are so proud of. Like, you can't have a plastic fork, blah blah blah. It wasn't like the masses rising up against it. Who fought it in court? It was big plastic. Our evil capitalist overlords or whatever, but they did a great service. I mean, I don't know how it's all going to pan out, but they fought it in court, and it's because the economic incentive for them is there. It's not like the average dude who has their job, their family, et cetera, all their stuff going on. They can't go fight a single-use plastic ban in court. It's like a natural disaster closing in on it. They can't reason with it. They can't argue with it. It just comes at them. It's like an earthquake or a hurricane. But if you're big business, there's a big economic incentive there. It's like, hey, we should fight this because it's better for us for this not to happen. They can bring their huge resources to bear. They do exercise, some power and some influence in the system that just regular people don't have. At the city level, it's going to be very difficult because is big plastic going to step in to fight for our situation against Jayati?
No, but that's one of the things I think is like super interesting about some of the smaller guys like Democracy Fund who just hire like little lawyers to go and try to and just throw
send them in.
Yeah, throw like a couple $1,000 and just try to topple the giant with like some shrewd lawyering. Like, it's happened before. Crowdfunding is a mechanism, but like, here's the whole thing: is if someone was raising an initiative, and I'll just be honest, if someone was like, "Hey, we're raising money to fight the paper thing, can I have some of your money?" I'd probably just do the math and go, "Okay, well, how many bags is that gonna cost?" And like, it's 15 cents. Sounds like a pain. I gotta like give you my credit card.
So, and it's part of you
burn your paper bag.
It's part of a basic problem we have where, like you're not going to get paid back by the fight per se. Like the fight itself has to kind of gain some value. Like the act of interfering with these tyrannical maniacs has to kind of have some value. And it's almost like the idea, like, you know, you plant the tree, but you're not going to sit in its shade because a few generations down, like that's going to be a benefit someone else has. So it's kind of like you need this sort of long-term vision and kind of see a value in the resistance itself, because the outcome itself, like you say, it's okay, you know, maybe it's going to cost me $10 in bags per year, and the inconvenience of being, I want napkins, I want straws, I want ketchups, and I want a paper bag for my food.
Yeah, who
every
wants
time you go through the drive-thru.
Affirmative consent for cutlery.
Affirmative consent. You must ask for consent.
Yeah.
Can I kiss you?
Who wants
Can I hug
this?
you?
Can I have a fork?
Can I touch your hair?
Okay, so I've seen a lot.
Can I touch your hip?
Can I have a cup?
Twitter is
Can I have a
probably Twitter is probably like a very, very like bizarre distortion on the pulse of like mainstream
Not
public
anymore,
opinion.
dude.
Like, well, no, but I mean, you know, for example, someone posted something. Someone got all like hot and bothered. I think he's like a CJ92 DJ or like some like old boomer guy who's like angry, and he posted a bunch of like shit emojis, and he's like, what
Wait,
the
is
hell, man?
CJ92 the rock station or is it the university station?
That's
No,
CJSW.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so CJSW is the university station.
Garbage.
CJ92 was basically known as
Boomer
the
rock.
Nickelback station for like as long as they were cool. And Creed. And it's the same.
Terrestrial radio boomers.
Yeah, like yeah, but anyway, so this guy's like,
I
yeah,
only
what's
listen to 660. Get fucked.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, this guy's angry. He's CJ92 DJ guy. He's like upset. He's like, what the hell's going on here? Man, Burger King, 15 cents. And the litany of people in the comments that are like, it's only 15 cents. And
Just
people are
pay
like,
it.
don't you care about the environment? Like, so
See, and that's the thing with this whole like progressive mentality. There's no limit to anything. There's no cutoff point to any of it. Like you can always be more quote unquote progressive. It's like safety, right? It's like you can always be more safe. Everything you can do could be more safe. Where do you draw the line? Like, how do you decide what's safe enough or what's like not worth the extra safety? It's the same thing with progressivism though. But like, if someone says, well, you don't want it to be safe, you don't want, and interestingly, like when you ask people who do dangerous jobs, you're like, would you rather make more money or be more safe? They're like, more money. And it's the same. Well, it's this progressive attitude too, where like there's no rational limit because, like where do you cut it off? Where's the principle?
So what's the underlying? So you may have had to make a couple of these arguments, but like considering where our rhetoric and logic has gone over the past, say, 10 or 15 years, have you ever had to do anything that revolved around the concept or idea of reasonableness? Is there any wiggle room left on the concept or idea of reasonableness as it applies to the courts?
well, no, it's like totally distorted.
The
Something.
reasonable man.
Yeah, but it's gone from the reasonable man on the subway to
The woke man.
yeah, to kind of like whatever the judge, I guess, decides is reasonable. But it's gotten so far from that original Old English common law standard. But it's justified under this in the same vein, right? So they're like, oh yeah, the reasonable man loves diversity, equity, inclusion. Like, who are you, you racist?
Yeah, it's like it's a non-contradictory argument, ergo it's fucking reasonable. It's like, no, that's not what that means.
So this is like part of the like wider like and like sinister infection of every aspect and institution in our lives of this I hate to kind of like say like the woke mind virus, because that's maybe like a little too buzzy.
I think we all
leftist
know
cult.
what that word means, and it works really good. Like, so like saying groomer, like we all know what that means.
I think the virus analogy is like, I mean, I don't know. I kind of gained that understanding from some of James Lindsay's stuff, who I actually think is, out of all of these kind of like right wing pundit guys, or like kind
We've
of
had this argument.
He's a left winger.
He's a lefty.
how. I've heard this on a
He's a
previous
liberal.
episode.
If you listen to my podcast, you'd already
Yeah,
know.
I do. But he's just a classical liberal, isn't he? Like
Exactly.
but he's a minarchist.
He's a sort of classical liberal, but not like a John Locke type or like a Lord Acton or something like that. He's like a kind of modern liberal. Like
He's a 90s
he's
liberal.
really, you know, pro civil rights, he's just one of these guys, like the left went too far for my tastes and kind of descended into crazy town. So, but he's still part of the same stream. So it's like, I mean, I actually quite like him in a lot of ways, because he digs into like the sources of what's behind like this enemy we face, which I think is actually useful. Some people think, you know, you don't need to read these like old philosophers and stuff, but I think he does a good job actually going back and reading these sources and what's kind of like motivating these. Because everyone, I think it's Keynes who says, you know, everyone is basically like a mouthpiece for some dead philosopher. Like there's some undercurrent of ideas that's coming through you. And James Lindsay's good at articulating that, but on his own ideological basis, he's not fundamentally opposed to like the leftist program per se. It's just kind of faster than he would prefer. He's more concerned about the right wing, but he is an important or a useful ally to the counterculture.
I would call him a reactionary asset.
That seems fair. But anyway, what were you saying about him before?
Well, like, I kind of think he's I think he is more hardcore than just being like I don't think he's a lefty. I think and obviously the biggest issue is people are like, oh, you're either on the left and you're like a Marxist, or you're on the right and you're a fascist. But they're obviously just different versions of the big state kind of authoritarian, and that's left. To me, that's the real left, not the, you know, oh, those libs, man, the libs on the left.
What's Bill Maher then?
Yeah, Bill Maher is just like your classical boomer like Trudeau, or no, like Jean Chrétien liberal, isn't he? I mean,
yeah, he's American, like version. A Clintonian.
Well, so the thing is with these guys, like Bill Maher is a good example, but these guys are like they can't understand like how we got here. Like, oh, these crazy leftists. I might be a liberal, but I'm not like these crazy people. But it's like, well, how did you get to that point? It's because it's kind of liberalism, even in a classical sense, kind of opens the floodgates. It like creates that opportunity for the progressive or the leftist cult to move in, because it can't structurally kind of keep it out. So it's the natural consequence of their ideas, and they don't see that in principle they don't really differ from it. It's just almost like a personal preference. Like, oh well, liberalism went as far as I'm happy with. Why do you have to go farther? And it's like, well, it doesn't stop with you. It keeps going. Like you've
boys,
set it up.
We're done. Pack her up. No more laws.
And so, like someone like him, they might complain about one crazy person or another, but they don't have any principled argument against it because they've already kind of conceded the general point. And then again, there's
Lindsay
no limit
hasn't
at that
though,
point,
right?
Well, I think he kind of has a similar problem, like where, again, it's like they went too far for James Lindsay's preference, but what gives you the principle to establish a cutoff point? And I don't think even classical liberalism allows for that. That's kind of the weakness of classical liberalism.
Well, it allows for the state, and the state, the very nature of the state is in and of itself progressive.
Well, especially, I mean, democracy especially, like it's always going to tend towards like a certain direction. It's like Yarvin says, Cthulhu always moves left, only moves left. Like it's like entropy. It's like it's inherently destructive. You need to have some kind of resistance, or you need to have some way to like maintain a certain order. Otherwise it falls apart. Like things don't just run themselves, so to speak. Like you can't just have like a constitution that enforces itself. It requires a certain like society or a certain kind of infrastructure of values and character in the society. Otherwise it necessarily breaks down. It's like entropy. Cthulhu always moves left. It doesn't move the other direction.
And you would think that the courts are that bastion. You think the courts are the thing that like says this far, no further, dude.
Yeah, but the problem is that they're just a big apparatus. They're just another wing of the state, right? And I had a really interesting experience with private arbitration and private mediation, which I have a almost maybe not more of an experience than with the courts, but it seems to almost be when there's private parties who don't have endless money to throw behind some fight or whatever they've decided is their issue that they want to go to the mats on. It costs people money, right, to adjudicate stuff. And even if you're right, it has a wear on you too, because it's super expensive. And being made whole of whatever the wrong was against you, you're still going to be out because you got to pay for the adjudication process. But private mediators seem, at least in my estimation, to do a better job, and private arbiters, I suppose, because the parties have to voluntarily pick the guy, and then they're like, okay, he's the guy. This is his reputation. He's fair, and of course, he's selling a product, right? He's a fair and wise arbiter, and he makes good decisions. He can't be bought. He can't be bargained with. He can't be well. I guess you can reason with
Terminator.
But those
that's what he's selling.
Yeah, the courts are very different, and I mean, in philosophically and ideologically speaking, I'd consider myself to be a paleo-libertarian. But again, it's rooted mostly in hardcore intellectual theory. Practically speaking, I don't think we're ever going to see a society in which the state does not exist. So how do you, I mean, if you're a libertarian, how do you even go about, and maybe that's James Lindsay's kind of fallback position, right? Is okay, the perfect world's probably never going to exist, or maybe not the perfect world, but like the apodictic, paleo, like libertarian kind of philosophy will never exist. How do we get by with a state? And that was kind of the idea, I suppose, of the classical liberals when they, founded the United States, right? They're like, okay, well, the government's got a limited role, but they still saw the government to have some sort of a role. But the government always wants to get more massive. So what do? I want answers.
Get a king.
You guys suck, man.
You get a king, man.
You guys are.
Every government is kind of by its nature limited.
You get
in some
a private arbiter.
There was no government before the Europeans arrived in Canada. Like, weren't the Aboriginals the perfect government?
They had their own set of problems.
I mean, it was great if you're a member of the winning tribe.
You mean you weren't? It wasn't like Pocahontas. I've seen like a few movies. Like, wasn't it just?
Dude, it was exactly like Avatar. They were just running around.
Yeah, wasn't it like super abundance and
free of
no violence?
Free of
it was
sin,
no
dude.
Disney cartoon.
There was no sin until the white man showed up.
Yeah, so just going back to this, like, kind of, it's more of like just to try to like reconcile theory with pragmatism and like just trying to exist today without wanting to throw yourself into the Glenmore Reservoir. So how do you guys do it? I'm kind of curious.
Well,
like not throw myself like.
Well, I mean, it's always great to be like, okay, well, like I'm never going to smash the state, as it were. And yeah, so if there's a policy that reduces interference in the market, I'm going to support that. I don't care what jersey is behind it or what team is behind it. And if anyone brings about something retarded like 15-cent plastic bags, I'm not going to support it. But like at some point, as we get older and we like kind of make our way towards our inevitable end, you've got to be like kind of just accept like, okay,
you're a fucking foreigner in your own country. You don't get the right, or you don't have the emotional buy-in to meddle in their local politics. Basically, this is beyond you. It doesn't matter. It's the cost of doing business, right? So it's you basically say like, oh, I'm a visitor to this land, and who the locals elect is none of my fucking concern. Like, how does it affect me? Like, oh, I got to pay 15 cents for a paper bag now? Like, fuck.
I just move on.
I hate these locals.
Like,
Moving on.
I hate it, but it took me about 3 seconds to be like, okay, it's 15 cents. Like, and yeah, and I'm good. 15 cents. You know what? Like, I don't like it, but I'm not gonna pull my hair out over it. I don't fucking care.
I assume an alternate identity and shit post on Twitter.
Yeah, like that's a good idea. Like, when was the last time that you like ragged on Lord Nikon?
Well, this would be the first of this year.
He just released an album.
Is it good?
I don't know. I haven't listened to it.
Do you think he supports the state?
Yeah, he's like a communist, man.
But he's really concerned about how much his Burger King costs. So you think he'd pay the 15-cent tax?
No, like 15 cents is tiny compared to the $20 supersized burger meal. Do you see a picture of the meal he was getting?
What was on it?
I don't know, like
how's he like
a triple burger and like an oversized fries and like I don't know, Fanta drink or something. They get $20.
Oh man,
that is. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But that's more because he's like, even for fast food, this is really expensive, and he like it doesn't even remotely occur to him that it might be monetary inflation that caused the prices to go up.
just take less money, fucking corpos.
Can I just interject on this inflation thing for a second? Yeah. So some people really piss me off with the stupid shit they say, pardon my language, but this inflation thing, like you see this kind of with kind of crime statistics too, but basically people saying, so say we had like 5 or 7% inflation or whatever, and then they're like, oh, now it's down to 2. Our government's doing a great job. And this drives me crazy because it basically ignores the level you're at now. So let's say you can do it with crime. Like say my city has 100 murders a year. Say it doubles to 200 murders per year. And then the next year it goes to 220 murders per year. So
but it's relative to the population, 100%,
goes up 100% murders. Then it goes up 10%. They'd be like, well, it's down. Like the murders are down.
Crime's down. Tough on crime.
Crime is up. It's just the rate of increase has slowed down significantly. And that's what they're doing with inflation. This is the way they're trying to hoodwink you or put the shucks on the rubes. And this is driving me crazy. So let's say we had 10% inflation for a year or whatever. Then it goes down to 5%.
It was 3 years.
Then it goes down to 3. They're like, oh, well, inflation is down again. But have a lower level of inflation on a higher base, right? Like the higher, so if price levels are 100, it goes up to 120, and then it only goes up 120 to 122 the next year. You're just at a smaller rate of increase on like a way higher level, right? So say all your housing prices double, and then they only go up another 10% the next year. They're like, see, it's inflation's way down. And then you're supposed to be encouraged by this, but the level itself that your rate of increase is applied to has gone way, way up. So when they, like these shills for Ottawa and like the Trudeau government saying, oh, they've got inflation under control. And it's like, okay, they've lowered the rate of inflation. Well, really the central bank.
The velocity of inflation.
They've lowered the rate of inflation, but that's after the price levels have already gone up. Like, the cost of living in Canada is really bad right now. It's basically an inflation issue, right? But I can't stand the arguments or maybe it shouldn't like get me so bent out of shape, but just shills and idiots who try to make us thankful that, hey, we've got one of the lowest inflation rates in the G7 or like. It's
not even so much shilling. It's more just like spin doctoring, right?
Yeah.
You're like, and all politicians do this, whether it's like
these are people on Twitter.
Or just people. These are like the corporate media people.
Oh, okay.
These are Twitter people. These are social media
Rachel
clowns.
Gilmore.
So let's have a quick conversation about Rachel Gilmore.
I don't know if I can. I might have to leave the room.
You're gonna have a stroke. Imagine if she took imagine she was like on the finance.
She was
desk,
in a picture with that
desk of Global
Saskatchewan trans activist, and they looked very similar. Is that rude to say?
No, I think you're allowed to say that.
Hang on.
Does she have a job?
No. Twitter and TikTok is her job.
Okay, so
and she has a musician boyfriend.
Yeah, but here's my philosophy. So like we all know this stuff. Like, okay, well, this is a side tangent. Has anyone seen a picture of the boyfriend? I imagine him to look like Lord Nikon.
I have. And he looks like granola, like Antifa.
Does he wear,
and he's a musician.
Does he wear
have you heard his music? I guess that's
he put out like one song in 3 years, and Rachel was very proud of it.
I want to listen to it.
You can. It's like an Instagram. You can go find it. I can show it to you later.
Show it to me. I'm totally keen.
It's lame.
Okay, so I guess the other question is because I've got this theory. You guys have heard of like press progress, right?
Yeah.
Like
unfortunately, they exist.
So are they just funded? They're basically funded by unions, aren't they? Like all the big unions,
kinds of,
just like
anyone you hate probably gives money to them.
Yeah, but I mean, they're kind of like the rebel of the left, aren't they? Or like true north. Well, they are, aren't they? Like they're like.
I feel like they're more institutional.
So they're not like
it's like a command
leftist
and
media,
control.
aren't they? Kind of like a think tank sort of thing
like
as well.
Command and control kind of thing. It's like the Cato Institute mixed with something else.
I don't think
Didn't like Rachel Notley hire people out of Press Progress to consult on things? Like I think they're more than just a media thing. I think it's a
I might be
think tank. Is that
I might be confused. Like they do publish like like conservative hit piece like news.
I think it's like Media Matters kind of thing in the States.
Correct the record.
So here's what I think is because I mean unless Rachel Gilmore is like on welfare and just like getting free money. I bet that she's currently like privately funded to just like sit on TikTok and probably Facebook or whatever. Didn't she get like blocked on Facebook for posting something and it was like this big outrage?
Apparently she's
I don't keep up with her day to day.
I check in. I think she's like got some affiliation with some like some university like Center for Media Values or it's some University of Ottawa thing or University of Toronto thing.
She's poison though. Like no legacy like dinosaur media is ever going to hire her.
No, she's trying to be the wave of the future, like TikTok journal.
So I guess
/activist.
Here's something that I wanted to get your guys' kind of pulse on because
let's not be too mean to her because she's mentally ill.
And she's crazy. No, so this next thing has nothing to do with Rachel Notley. So this is more like a general, like kind of, check up and where are we at? You know what I mean? So, and again, I think it's so hard to get kind of like an accurate snapshot, like by reading Twitter, because it's such a microcosm of just like nutcases from everywhere.
Great, dude.
I don't get me wrong, I like it. So I get here's the big question.
It's the voice of our times.
It's
the
unfortunately
Oracle. It's the Oracle.
It is the Oracle.
So
it's like divination. Like you, instead of casting lots or reading the intestines or whatever, you go to Twitter and like try to divine the spirit
the chicken
of the
bones,
age,
dude.
Try to divine the future.
Okay, that raises a couple of other interesting points that I wanted actually one of my friends here to answer. But the first thing is, and this is more just kind of general. People talk about this quite a bit, but we're like taking a bird's eye view. It seems to be kind of at least my feeling and my perspective, and maybe that of others, that the pendulum is kind of starting to swing back on the insanity.
Cope.
Well, yeah, totally right.
Cope.
Like. Because I mean, the evidence might kind of show that, okay, the courts are starting to be infected with the mind virus. Like there's,
you have to, federal rules, federal court, give me your pronouns, give me the pronunciation of your name and whether you want to acknowledge a land treaty.
Yeah, I'm going to run into that soon and I don't know. I kind of want to give like a land acknowledgement to the colonial settlers and the like hard work. Like I wonder what they'd say. Like because land acknowledgements have like prerogative now. So like anybody can make them, and if you want to give them, then I think you're allowed to. I think that's what that would mean.
It's like a symbolic.
But I don't think they put any criteria on what a land acknowledgement is. So
they just assume you know the correct answer.
Pick whatever agreement the fucking British broke when they fucking slaughtered.
Yeah, like I mean, here's the other thing though, is like I've got kind of an aversion to like kind of the jackass thing where you're like, oh yeah, you want this? Well, like watch how clever I am in my retort, and I just kind of don't really want to participate in that.
Even just said I'd like to thank the king for usage of his lands.
Yeah, I mean,
King Charles.
You could, but I mean, I guess here's the other thing: is I don't really want to cause a stir when I'm trying to.
Who fucking cares?
Well, my client might. If
no. I'm saying like
something.
It gets no value to you, and it's just like you're not going to win.
I'd almost just rather ignore it and pretend. I think that's even
just
better.
Leave it blank, dude.
Yeah, just leave it blank. So I guess here's the. I mean, let's just return. Do you guys think that there is a pendulum swing, or do you think we're just spiraling into the abyss of hell? Yeah, I'm getting a nod.
Yeah, I think it's a society or a civilization in decline for sure. So it might be a bumpy road down, and there will be deceleration at points. But I think the battle was lost long ago. So you can only create kind of resistance at the edges, which I don't get me wrong. I think that's valuable, and I think that's important to slow things down or impede things. There is a lot of value in that, even if it's not, ultimate victory. But, the tide of history is definitely against us.
Okay, here's a counter argument. Although, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because again, it's all a matter of kind of more like perspective and like time horizon. So, okay, take cavemen and like tribalism to I don't know, you can buy a vehicle for, $20,000 and you've got like independent freedom and internal combustion engines. Like, wouldn't you say that maybe on the broader scale of humankind, despite some of the political issues, humankind is always better tomorrow than they were the day before?
No. Would you rather have an iPhone in the year 2020 or have an iPhone in the year 1950?
I'd probably rather have an iPhone in 1950 because then you're like one up on everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, what is it about 1950 that is more appealing than 2020?
I don't know. Like I look back at.
I think
well, of course. Like it's just
Everybody
a little bit more
knows.
like traditional and a little bit more like kind of
a high trust society.
Yeah, totally. But I even see the 90s as that. You know what I mean? Like
I think we're children,
but people also have this like nostalgia, right? Are we not better off today than we were in like 1994 or like 1950 or like 1810?
If you
materially in a lot of ways, but is that the end of the story?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of an existential question. Like I'm just trying to.
I think we're spiritually more impoverished than we've been in a long time. Materially, we're quite well off. Like we're very comfortable. We just went through minus 35 a week of it, and we lived in comfort. We didn't die instantly.
I hit a button and my car started.
Yeah, like
I hit a knob and my house got warmer.
So do you think that so maybe if things were on a more liberal trajectory, that maybe the acceleration of the process of civilization would be maybe we'd be like Jetsons cars by now or something if there wasn't like a state apparatus slowing it down.
I think,
but notwithstanding, isn't it okay? So I got to pay 15 cents a bag for the thing, but I can have like stem cells cloned to like I don't know, potentially cure like my gastrointestinal thing.
You can also have disease X, bro. Like
dying isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. Well, getting sick isn't the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, I've seen 24. What's that like thing where he's like, you don't think I can put this down your throat, but I can.
All
the way.
It's a towel. You may not think I can put this towel down your throat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's easy to be like, oh man, a 15-cent bag thing and get really bent out of shape over it. And Gondik and Trudeau and like Scarecrow Biden and even Trump, right? Like, what I think is really interesting is this like kind of jersey, this jersey wearing, right? Where people are like, oh, Trump's so much better than Biden and Biden's so much better than Trump. Trump's a dictator.
Dude, he's awesome. Because he makes my enemies angry.
I'm riding with Biden.
so are you black?
I'm riding with Biden.
Are we not? We're not black.
How do you know?
Well, because we didn't vote for Biden.
Oh, is that the like only?
You don't vote for me, you're not black.
Who's that? The Elizabeth Warren that said she was like part native? And then
dude, do you
Pocahontas.
see Elon Musk fucking dunk on her?
Hey, let's. She's like 1,024.
Yeah, wasn't there a fact check? And they're like, oh, look, we found a shred.
1,024. Yeah, it's just like you're not going to get stated. Shut the fuck up. This isn't like the white purity trials of not one drop. Even the Nazis had this thing where it's like, well, 3 generations later, like you're back in the club. Like this is well removed.
Yeah,
from
but they had to keep expanding that as they were getting guys killed on the battlefield. So like, I guess desperate times call for desperate measures.
Sometimes you have a turn up winner, dude.
Okay, so just to follow up on this idea that according to you guys, the pendulum is not swinging back and we're just swinging into a degenerate socialist hell. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that.
I think the right wing has become better at grifting.
And coping, for sure. I think the left is more organized. I think they're more pervasive. I think that, and this is why, for maybe all of his flaws, I think the benefit to James Lindsay is he actually presents a dissection of the virus.
I like that kind of thing. Yeah. Personally, I find that very valuable.
Yeah, and I think it is.
You got to understand the enemy. You got to understand the story you're in. And part of that is who is the villain.
The issue is
who is your Dark Lord.
The issue is that the process of infection is so easy compared to the process of the cure. He just did a bullet recently. I'm sorry to kind of like keep bringing up James Lindsay, but like a lot of especially his more recent stuff has is interesting to me because, frankly, like, I'm disappointed in the right. I think that people are bitching and moaning and they're picking like kind of isolated issues to like kind of go after, but nobody has presented a roadmap to try to roll it back. And I think James Lindsay is kind of trying.
So Yarvin's approach was basically some source of truth that isn't corrupted by leftist ideology, right? So that's why, like, you can't even use right-wing think tanks as any kind of reference because most of them just want war, right? Like,
or they're just totally tainted, or they're jersey wearers, right? It's just like they're team Alberta party or team UPC or whatever. Okay, so here we're gonna just shift gears really quick. Danielle Smith. Okay, so is she a repeat of Kenny? We've talked about this before, right? So Kenny came in, he said all the right stuff. I was pretty stoked, and yeah, he's a like big fat conservative, but I was like, oh, Kenny, man. Like when he gave his acceptance speech, we've talked about this on the podcast before. He said all the right things, and I was like, oh, finally, after 4 years in Notley, like we got this guy. He might not be as horrible as Notley, and then he was worse. Okay, so what do you think of Danielle Smith? Let's hear it.
He's gonna have a way stronger opinion.
So it's complicated, but to kind of be a little meta about it, in some ways, the most important thing about Danielle Smith isn't actually what she does.
That makes
like
sense.
she will fail.
She's not.
She will not like deliver,
turn back the tide,
the redemption, right? She will not turn back the tide. But the thing is, there is, I think, a certain importance and value in why she won and certain people who are in her ambit. So she's not like one of us, but she's also not exactly one of them. She's a little bit of a contradictory character in some ways and a little incoherent, but she's important what she represents and also the reaction she creates from our enemies. Kind of in a lesser way than the way like the mask slips when they're dealing with Trump. Like the system hates Trump. So you can like Trump or not like him, but think of the reaction he creates and think of how much he exposes how your enemy really thinks of you. And I think there's some value in that because even though Danielle Smith doesn't necessarily deliver the goods, in some sense, she's perceived as like the representative of a certain group of people. That even people like us might be also included in that umbrella. So the way they think of her as kind of like almost the caricature they create, that character applies to us. And the hatred, the establishment, or the powers that be, or whatever, that comes towards her is kind of vicariously applied to us. And it's important to understand, again, like where those lines are drawn. Who are the enemies? Like if you say, if you stand up to Ottawa at all, even ineffectively, what happens? What is the result? Look at the Canada pension plan versus Alberta pension plan debate that happened. Basically, what we saw is quite transparently the contrary opinion, which is that no, Alberta needs to pay. Alberta needs to subsidize everyone else. That's the way it should be. So just to have it out there with no, just naked, like, tell us what you really think of us. Oh, you basically think we're your tax cows. We just exist to be milked by you so you can buy votes in other parts of the country, so you can subsidize other people. There's this like, there's a conflict in Canada and she's kind of part of it and just what she represents, not necessarily what she does, because for all her flaws, what she represents, I think, is important despite all the ways she has and will fail.
I think right-wing adjustment to prestige concepts, because there's no like, you can't get on Twitter or Instagram or whatever and say to your circle of friends, because that's where your circle of friends are now, guess what? I'm going to save myself over the course of my professional career approximately $20,000 by abandoning the the Canadian pension plan and joining the Alberta pension plan.
Isn't the Canadian pension plan like the biggest pile of dog shit on the planet?
The numbers are still like coming in about how bad it is and how much
we dump into it, and it's just trash. Like, so
it's bad, but you can't go and say to a bunch of people under the age of 30 how fucking awesome it is to take your money away from Canada, because they're like, well, everyone should be able to retire. And it's just like,
I'm Canadian.
What about the grannies? And they're like, oh, I have to be a honor.
Who wants to send their money to like Quebec I have an aversion to sending my money to people who are like just agnostic. Like, they don't even know that my money is what's keeping them alive. It is exponentially worse to send it to people who are actively like, yeah, fuck you, give me your fucking money.
Yeah, like a spoiled teenager.
Yeah, it's terrible. And what's even crazier is I don't know how anyone that has even like 5 IQ points to rub together to make a fucking fire cannot understand that concept. Like, it's just baffling to me.
Yeah, everybody, like the Alberta pension plan, I think, is the perfect litmus test for an Albertan.
It's kind of a nothing burger. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's not. It's huge.
Well,
it's
the
Fair Deal panel report.
Yeah, we kind of analyzed it in another kind of video, and we've talked about it a bit. But it's important because, they kind of exposed, again, the mask slipped in the argument against it, because they would say, oh, well, Alberta doesn't pay any more than what it takes out. But on the other hand, you'll just hurt Canada so badly if you take it out, which is a contradictory statement. And that's kind of basically the argument. So it's like, basically, yeah, we get to keep milking you, and that's just what Alberta's for. But it hits.
I don't want to carry it.
Like, it would hurt Ottawa badly to pull out of it, which is why it's awesome. And
so do you think it'll actually happen though?
I think
there's too many hurdles.
There's a decent chance it could actually happen.
It's an easy win, dude.
It might not, election. But like, the thing is, they should just do it. No referendum, no nothing, just do it. They probably don't have the guts to do that, but that's really what they should do.
Oh, the left rules by decree. I don't know why. There's a majority. Yeah, it wasn't an election item, but the
left doesn't get permission for anything it does.
I have a prediction. It'll be used as a carrot. In the next negotiation with the feds.
To be like, we'll stay in the Canada pension plan if you allow us to use single-use plastic.
We'll continue to prop up your like fucking Ponzi scheme of a pension plan with all our young rich workers. If just for the next 5 years you don't charge us carbon tax, like those are the kinds of negotiations that I can see happening.
Yeah, it's like please hurt us less.
But it's totally ineffective, right? Like, look at all the crazy new stuff that the Liberals are just trying to squeeze in before the guillotine comes like crashing down on them.
It's nuts, dude. Getting rid of internal combustion.
That's why they got to get all these new people into the country.
Yeah, so here, I guess here's another question. This is kind of on the same tip as like, okay, can we trust Danielle Smith? I don't know. I think that the verdict's still out on that one, but
trust no one.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the other thing is, obviously Poilievre's got like the axe, the tax. He's been very, very kind of very selective about the issues and very focused on kind of a couple of core points, and like, he doesn't get into any really hairy territory on a lot of stuff.
Great politician.
Yeah, well, which is intelligent, because the problem with Trudeau is he's so flowery and kind of all over the place and disjointed. On the few focused issues that Poilievre is slamming him on, he's just totally defenseless.
Yeah, and funny enough, he's just like, you like Trump. Like, so, that's his political comeback.
Yeah, trying to bring American right-wing politics to the... sorry, wrong voice. They're trying to bring American right-wing politics to Canada.
Oh my God.
They're trying to bring Trumpism to Canada.
No, so MAGA is such a specter that you can potentially run an entire political campaign on the prospect.
On anti-MAGA?
Yeah. And then somebody goes
Keep Trumpism out of Canada.
Yeah, and somebody goes like, well, Trump's going to win, clearly. Who would you rather have fucking like at your side? fucking Trudeau or Polyev. And that's the counter to the
Well,
argument.
what about Chrystia Freeland
I think she's the most attractive
or
politician.
dude,
Melanie Jolie?
She got the fucking dumps on it.
Are we allowed? Are we
She's
allowed to say
dragging the
that?
wagon.
Dude, well, look, man, she works out a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's
She does not.
disgusting. She hasn't seen a gym.
Those are called Nazi jeans, buddy.
Do you,
That's
do you think she?
gross.
Do you think she
Look,
secretly meets
you're-
Lord Nikon
you're-
at Burger
I'm gonna
King?
go be sick.
you're so demoralized you don't even recognize an Aryan goddess when she's staring at you
Okay.
over a fucking boardroom table.
Let's rein it in here, you jackals. So do you think
Her grandfather was a Nazi. Come on now.
Hey, I get it.
Absolutely.
I'm with you. Do you think Polyev is going to reverse any of the insanity?
No, but there is. He's part of it. But the thing is, the bums need to be thrown out. They need to be punished electorally. They need to be pulled out of power, even if a lot of doesn't fundamentally change. But another thing is, if the conservatives are going to hell at 50 miles an hour and the liberals are going to hell at 60, take the conservatives because you're going to hell more slowly and you can, prepare for that.
I don't know.
Phase.
I feel like that.
Unless you're an accelerationist, in which case you want the worst possible government to destroy things as quickly as possible.
Elizabeth May only.
I found out that
We endorse Elizabeth May for prime minister.
I found out that you can't be a right wing accelerationist.
What about well, I don't know.
What about Mussolini?
It's an interesting thought.
It's a communist term for like the descent of capitalism.
What about Nick Land?
Yeah. What do you think of Nick Land?
I love Nick Land.
Yeah.
Who the hell's Nick Land?
Nick
He's
Land
a
is
philosopher.
He's a schizo, dude.
He's great. He was like a left-wing British philosopher guy.
I thought he was in California.
I don't know. I thought he was Anglo or
He was
something,
Cali.
but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But he basically
Did a bunch of
became
drugs
like
and
a
fled to Russia.
neo-reactionary guy, and just along with Curtis Yarvin, he became like a big part of like the whole NRX scene. But because he had Yarvin was very focused on like history and kind of like more obscure political philosophy. Land was more like acquainted with like newer, modern and postmodern, like continental political philosophy. And he kind of had just like a very different sort of grasp of the issues at stake. So they complement each other really well. They're not like, like part of a team or whatever. They're just kind of associated with the same general intellectual current. But he's great. Like he did like Xeno systems and the Dark Enlightenment. I think he came up with that.
Was the last one, yeah.
And
He quotes Yarvin in that.
He just started to notice.
He quotes Yarvin in that. And then I saw an interview of all places fucking Yarvin showed up on the Kill stream, which is like a fucking cozy TV fucking like alt thing with some like fat ass Ralph guy who was used to be part of that like internet blood sports crew, like the Medicars and the fucking Jean-Francois and the like those guys. And he was just like, yeah, he mentioned Nick Land, and Yarvin's like, yeah, I know of him. I've never read any of his shit. And I was like, oh fuck, that's mean.
Yeah, like
dude.
Nick Land.
Like that's mean.
Do you think he was lying?
No. That's why it's mean.
I think that's why it's interesting though, because they're kind of like operating in parallel.
Yeah, but one's aware of the other and the other one doesn't give a shit.
That's okay. That's just how it goes.
I don't know.
But yeah, Nick Land is good. If
He's
recommended reading Dark Enlightenment. What is it, like 80 pages?
Yeah, it's short. I found a sort of
He's also a fan of Hoppe.
sort of like
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like Skeptical Waves. I found another one. I gotta find the channel, but he basically reads. It's like another one of those like text to speech things, but he does it under the voice of Orson Welles.
Oh.
So, turning to the 2025 U.S. election.
Did you guys see that Rachel Notley has stepped down as leader?
Dude, it's great.
And
How drunk is she gonna get?
I'm
dude?
just delighted to see the leadership race for the NDP.
Yo, imagine her off the rails.
I
dude.
hope Sarah
Sarah Hoffman
takes it for the win.
Oh, she's
You
got
guys
a
are
very big
dumb.
personality.
I think she's. Believe it or
She's
not,
really going to hog the spotlight.
if there's any politician that's actually going to remove that 15-cent burger bag fee, like every now
She'll
and again,
get it,
there's a good policy from the
Dude,
NDP.
there's the internal Beardo, like the internal Nikon, and there's the internal Hoffman.
Yeah,
just being like, give me my fucking burger.
You can't smoke menthol cigarettes as she drives through the drive-through for the third time today and gets another quarter pounder combo.
Oh, dude, what a...
So who else is a candidate for the...
I think that Thomas Lakuzik's going to step in.
The strange little man.
The strange little man
in there.
Janice is weird, man, but she's got some fans.
Dude, you can't look away, dude.
No, nothing could be better than for her to like win the leadership, because it would just, the NDP is actually hard up. Like, they're not doing very well.
How about that like Castro-loving fat Cuban guy?
Oh yeah. Oh man,
is he still still around?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't keep up on the NDP. I'm like,
someone found some.
Are you going to join the NDP so you can vote in the leadership race?
We should. We all should, so that we could fucking get Irwin
that Take
up there.
Back Alberta guy. He's trying to like
get everyone
people to join
and just
like
vote for some loser.
I think Hoffman gets my vote.
No,
I hope she steps in.
I would take that hard Marxist commie fat Cuban guy any
like
day.
the Lethbridge guy, or who are we talking? I don't know who that is.
Wait, who was the
was his name Carlos something? He's just some big fat communist, and he's just like an accidental.
He's got like a Che Guevara ring.
No, it's a watch. It's a wristwatch. And like he's had these like crazy meetings where he says some of the most like inane Stalinist stuff, and
he's the Vivek of fucking Alberta.
Yeah, like is he still in MLA?
I don't know.
Don't care.
But
like the NDP caucus is the biggest it's ever been in Alberta. So like I think that
the caucus, like the number of seats. No, it's the biggest minority in Alberta history.
Like that's
so it's totally a win, guys.
It's a win.
Okay.
Cope.
Here's a question. Do you guys personally know any like and I know the answer to this. Do you know any like people who had NDP lawn signs who are like rabid on Twitter?
No.
We do.
We do.
We've got a buddy
like signs.
Yeah.
So hang on. Like just to clarify what I mean, like I know a few people who, would vote NDP in life, but to put up the sign is like kind of a different category, right? Because
it's like having a cross on
it's like putting it out there, like loud and proud
in Alberta, in Calgary.
So yeah, it's a very different kind of character to like a lot of times, union people, and
there's little nods in my neighborhood. There's Save Alberta Parks and support Alberta.
So is like
teacher union.
Yeah, Save the CBC is one, or like not God bless her, but
don't
like
cut my healthcare.
Yeah, like or like fund the CBC.
Alberta teachers. Like those kinds of signs where I kind of know I know everything I need to know.
I don't know. So who do you guys think will actually run for leadership
of NDP? I think Thomas Lakuzik. There's the one lady, I forget her name, and I think Irwin
was that our old town?
Because he or she is a narcissist.
I got a question. I think I know the answer. What do you guys think of that like 50-year-old that's like swimming with little girls? And what do you think about David Menzies' constant monitoring and like following him around? And he's like, it's basically a shame campaign.
Yeah. I haven't,
is that journalism? I think it is.
That's the modern journalism. That's what they do. They like shame people into like they become part of the story.
But I mean, like, I actually think that it's kind of effective. Like, look at how complacent and bizarre the, like the regime media, to steal Ezra Levant's words, because that's totally what they are. Like, what I think has been really interesting is watching Rebel News in Davos with this WEF
just
stuff.
Jumping out of bushes. What are you doing?
Like, I think it's interesting because like every now and again someone engages and you get a really candid kind of quick, totally unscripted and unprepared you got some guy that like or basically just load questions on him. And it's going to go one of two ways, right? Either they're going to engage with you and they're going to try to kind of show that, like, okay, well, I can take hard questions, or they're going to just ghost you and then you just unload the barrage. and frankly, like, I kind of think it makes them look like they got something to hide. Like, I don't think that it's good to avoid the questions.
It makes them look like unaccountable power. And there's no way to look good. And somebody's like, yeah, just ignore that reporter. They're not even reporters anyways. And that is literally the stance of the Canadian government.
That's the privilege of power.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to answer your questions.
Yeah.
But
We're not here to have a debate.
But do you think it's like only?
We're not here to explain ourselves.
Do you think it's
to
only,
you.
do you think it's only like rebel fans that are like, yeah, you know, it's kind of a win-win. Either you get the information you're looking for, or you make them look like they're, you know, Philistines that it'll have nothing to do with you. Or do you think the majority of people are like, it's just ambush journalism?
Yeah,
It's totally ideological.
Depends on what side you're on, yeah, and who's
We're
asking
living in a
questions.
world where you see the same thing, but it means completely different things depending on who you are.
Like, what do you mean?
Like,
I see doctors,
one
engineers.
man is going to see rebel news as like hard-hitting journalism, activist journalism. The other guys are going to see them as like scammers, hacks, grifters.
Kinda.
Yeah, so the content is irrelevant kind of because we've bifurcated everything on kind of ideological lines.
They don't
what-
say that about Blacklocks, that's for sure.
Yeah, but objectively, what's more of a grift? Like being like, hey, you know, we don't get any money. You know, like we need your money, or being like, yeah, you're a bunch of grifters while like lobbying for like free government money because nobody watches your garbage.
What a deal!
Like I see a lot of that, like, you know, the whole
Can our
grifting thing.
podcast get a subsidy?
Yeah, well, we could get a sponsor.
Yeah, we need a subsidy from
I wonder
Ottawa.
if Press Progress would sponsor us.
I think if we have the right opinions, yeah.
Yo, yeah, I've already called you guys capitalist pigs like 6 times. That's deserving of at least $10 from Press Progress.
I think if we adopt Nick Land's like accelerationist theory, that's a communist kind of concept, which is like capitalism will eat itself, and from the ashes will rise a more equitable society.
No, but he's like hyper cyber horror capitalism. Like he wants to like merge with the machine. It's a little bit of a simplification, but he's not anti-capitalism, and not in the sense that like Marx is pro-capitalism as the stage in the historical dialectic to reach a certain point, but rather he sees like the cyberpunk capitalist future of
The synthesis of the state and corporations. Stakeholder capitalism.
I think he would see the like degradation of the nation state, and it's kind of like this cyberpunky corporatist future, but decentralized. And he's kind of like the techno futurist type of the right winger.
But he's like a right. Like, so
he read William Gibson and fucking.
What's his stance on like smartphone privacy and being recorded by Google?
He's never put forward anything
Do you think
about that specifically about privacy.
Okay, so who do you guys think in Canada? Let's just make a quick list. And I know that it's like maybe a little mean to make a list, but like top 3 most irritating commies. I'll
Rachel
start.
Gilmore,
Don Braid.
and Lord Nikon.
Who's Notley's husband?
Oh, that Lou.
The union.
He's named Lou. I think.
Lou Nesbitt.
I don't know.
Laser Lou.
Yeah, Laser Union Lou.
Yeah, whoever that faggot is in Edmonton.
Remember Johnny Blaze?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, those are a quick 3, dude. I gotta think.
No, my least liked people in Canada are probably Rachel Gilmore.
Yeah, she's bad.
Rachel Notley, and
Jagmeet Singh.
Oh, come on.
no, like
Don Braid is way worse than Rachel Notley.
no.
Oh, he is. Have you seen his like profile photo? He's got like
He's the worst. He's got like an atheist fedora hat.
Milady.
He's like Milady.
How does he still have a job?
Subsidies.
Like
Terrestrial
Ottawa
radio.
bailouts for the Edmonton Herald or whatever he writes for.
well, it's like Post Media or whatever, like whoever owns them, because like
I
he
think it's
writes for the
Edmonton Journal, yeah. So they've got their hands out.
Yeah. So, but
I'm just a no nonsense
the
kind of guy.
but the Calgary Herald actually used to be like a fairly, I don't know, like maybe conservative kind of, like not really conservative, but it was definitely not like a Don.
It wasn't
Braid.
like it was today.
It was like a prestige right wing kind of thing, and the Sun was seen as the trashy right wing. You know what I mean? Somebody's just like
The Sun. I remember when the Sun used to run Eric Margoly's column. Do you guys remember him?
No.
He was like that, like foreign war correspondent who's like been all over, and he like interviewed Gaddafi and like fighters in Yemen, and he's just one of these cool kind of guys, and kind of a bit of a liberalish, conservative, like one of these ambiguous characters who's a little bit more of an old style liberal, I guess. But he was awesome, and like I used to look forward to his column in the paper.
Yeah. As a
in the Calgary Sun, like the Sunday columns.
Dude, you didn't.
Wow.
That sounds like somebody who doesn't fuck.
I sound like I'm 90 years old.
Yeah. I used to look forward to the haggard sunshine girls that they'd like pull out of construction sites.
Wow. They had, but even before transsexuals were a big part of our culture, all those sunshine girls looked like they'd gone through some kind of ginger site.
They have some stories. That's
like
for sure.
They were mediocre.
I do have a little respect for them just being like, here, check out this.
Check out this babe. It was a nice concept, I guess. Kind of
sunshine
funny.
Girl.
Yeah, I
bringing a little sunshine.
Well, so to this date, they've never had a sunshine boy.
I think they did.
Oh, okay.
I think that was a thing at one point.
Dude, that's like the Sports Illustrated fucking.
It's like the firefighter calendar
bikini episode.
Haven't they just laid off a ton of people and someone's like, oh, I wonder why, and then they post a picture of this like big fatty on the cover?
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated, they're toast.
Yeah.
So what is it with all these companies so ideologically committed that they produce products no one likes? What's going on there?
Because you can't be wrong when you do that.
Well, you can. I mean,
at what point does the money matter?
That's because
you can squander resources on things that don't sell. And in a sense that happens. Like, you know, in Hollywood, you'd have like some big winners, and then you'd have some stuff that's like, you know, it doesn't have the same economic viability, but it's still produced.
But they're spread out so that you can absorb those losses, right? But when you're producing back-to-back bombs, like look at Disney.
Like at what point do you have to re-examine yourself and be like, what are we producing? How do we make money? Do the shareholders care?
No, they don't.
Or no, they
like none of that money. Like you're thinking that money to them actually is like a tangible thing. Like it.
Well,
like
they're still shareholders, and they still want like you don't.
I guess I extend this all the way out to the fact that money doesn't have any fucking value to begin with, right? So it's like, oh, our stock price is down like fucking 2%. And they're like, oh, whatever. Like who cares?
No, Disney's down.
The force is
like
female,
50 or 70% or something.
Yeah, but isn't
the force is female?
Isn't there?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like the ideology.
Wouldn't you rather be
the economics?
Yeah, like
which is interesting.
But there has to be a point where you just run out of gas and you don't have enough money to push garbage anymore.
And maybe that's the goal. Like, because if the left is a chaos agent that destroys everything it touches, like its purpose is to tear things down, not create,
or to take them over.
But let's be honest. Who thought about the relevancy of Sports Illustrated in the past fucking decade? No one.
Yeah, nobody. So they're doomed anyway. So do you think it's a kamikaze mission to like one final push and be like, let's put out some fatties and let's put down in flames?
I think you might be right, because a lot of people say get woke, go broke. But I think a lot of times it's the other way around. Like you're broke, and in some desperate play, you become woke to try and get some sales, and it fails. And then
what do kids like these days? There's like all fat people in bikinis.
There's no way that people like that. Like.
Yeah, but like worst case, they'd be like, well, you know, it might turn us around. It's like, you know, they're lying to themselves, and they're like, you know, we really need to take this in a fresh direction.
Yeah, okay. So on that point, let's bring it back to a very distinctly Canadian television show that just came out called Robin.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I've been watching it.
I got the DVD special edition box set.
I heard the plight of the director, who has been posting these like totally coherent, intelligent TikTok videos defending his position on the production. And I just thought he was a nice guy. I think we're suffering from some serious cultural inequity, and yeah, it's a great show. It's a good
cultural inequity.
Yeah, it's like a reimagining of.
Isn't it an English story?
Yeah, it totally is. And
from England,
Robin of Locksley.
Was it on Global? It's on some Canadian network.
He's like the son of King Richard or something.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was. All I know is he
comes
makes,
back from the Crusades.
He makes Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces list. And he might be more of a hero than Jesus in terms of all the boxing.
Like Robin Hood?
Yeah.
But is he based on like a historical thing? I thought it was just like a story.
I think Robin Hood as the myth
It's like a legend.
Yeah.
Maybe with some
like
vague
King
connection
Arthur.
to a
Like,
guy.
maybe
I was
there
just going to ask, is King Arthur a legend or like, is there who?
Yeah, that's a
he was-
legend.
maybe he was the last Roman like descendant in England, and he was like, "This is Roman soil."
It's
Okay,
one of
so-
our ultimate Western stories, like the quest for the Grail.
Yeah.
So when we see like global dump, because that had to have cost, like I know how much it costs to produce like videos,
It's
even
not cheap,
even if they're garbage, they're expensive to make.
Yeah.
And I know that global is probably like subsidized like crazy. They've got like a functional monopoly basically because of the CRTC and all this stuff, and they're massive. Plus Canadians are complacent and they just don't care.
Oh, I think there is some value in making woke garbage because it makes right wing kind of like rage.
Reactionaries.
It's free marketing from these fucking like brain warped right wingers and be like, "Oh, the M&M doesn't have
It doesn't
heels."
pay
Like,
off though, because it still doesn't sell.
dude, like how fake was the kind of contrast between Oppenheimer and Barbie? Like they're just two movies, but everyone's like, every journalist didn't have to be paid to write some kind of goddamn op-ed about like, oh, Oppenheimer's for fucking boys, Barbie's about fucking women.
I didn't really
Remember when the Joker came out and the media was like, "This is like the right-wing terrorist chud movie."
It's the incel movie.
Yeah.
What's with the like chud insult? Is that some like commie?
Yeah.
It's like the word queer. It's been reappropriated and now it's become this like badge of honor.
Yeah, the La Chud face, the pole face was a meme that came from Bunker Chan. Where you're like, we need to, and if you look at it, it does look like every school shooter and incel ever.
Well, it was based on that one guy in particular, that one school shooter,
But
shooter.
If you put that pole face or the chud face up there, and it became the chud face up against everything else, it kind of maps on, right? So it was just like saying like it's sort of like the fucking soy face is to the right.
Is the soy face just the Wojak guy? Is that just the guy?
No, it's
the soy jack.
Yeah,
It's a version of the Wojak.
Isn't the Wojak is completely different in my opinion.
So this is the soy jack like the like angry like glasses computer nerd guy?
No, the soy jack is the like
soy face.
Nintendo like super like, oh, I'm so excited for Nintendo, like that's the soy.
Consume.
So is there something wrong with being like having like a favorite female Twitch streamer and being excited about like the new special edition like action figure that's coming out?
Amaranth made an AI bot to respond to people on OnlyFans. In one day, she was able to gross $34,000. I believe.
Oh, that's just like, so what does
To
that say
talk
about
to-
society in general?
It doesn't say anything.
It does say something, man.
It just means that it was novel and new, and people were interested. And a lot
Were
of
they, or did they actually think that like Amaranth was like talking to them in their
No,
like hut in like rural Pakistan?
It was sold specifically that
Can
this
we
was
say that on the podcast?
Yes, it was an AI trained by her specifically. It was basically an Amaranth engram, if that makes sense.
Hey man, I'm not opposed to like new and interesting ideas, and like, you know, if you're some hot babe that
But
can,
do you know where this goes?
yeah, like AI girl or like cyborg girlfriends.
No, that's fucking last month we talked about that.
Yeah, we did. Did we talk about that?
No. Well, yes, we did, but here's where I'm taking
No,
this.
we're talking about like online like waifu.
No, yeah, we were talking about pregnant Sonic and fucking AI
my
girlfriends. No, I'm talking. I just wanted to say pregnant Sonic again because we're going to have more and more engramic AIs where specialists and kind of learned people who are focused on particular individuals or concepts train expert systems to be experts in those
So like
things.
Jordan Peterson clones that'll like give a talk in your basement.
Just clean your room. You know, like the Jiminy Cricket fucking Jordan Peterson app would be great. But at some point, we're going to make an engram of Jesus.
Well, we talked before about there was that Quebec school, and they were surveying the parents about having like AI school counselors and stuff. And of course, on the AI Jesus thing, I believe it was in Germany somewhere, and they had like an entire church service conducted by like an AI bot. So there you go. It's happening.
No, I think what they're going to do is so we're going to take all teachings, all interpretations, all concepts, all like kind of responses, and train it just over and over, and just like pepper it, be like, well, who will inherit the earth? And the AI is like, oh, it's the fucking meek. Like, okay, cool, boom, done. And
Not like the Yemenis. They're not going to inherit the earth.
well,
So but I mean, do you think that this spells the end of like I think universities are over. Like, I think anyone even today that goes and gets like a university education is a total sucker.
the power structures, like, you're not allowed to practice law without your papers. You know, you're not allowed to give financial advice without your papers. You're not allowed to be a fucking electrician without your fucking papers.
Here, you know, it's even you can't give somebody a massage without your papers,
Yeah.
or like a haircut, man.
Yeah. Dude.
And that's the example that I always use, right? Is like, if you go somewhere and get a really bad haircut, you're an idiot if you go back there.
Yeah, how many years of college do I need to make fucking a slut AI to fucking talk on OnlyFans? Like, maybe 4 years. 4 years.
Oh, probably zero. You could probably have AI write you an AI slut on the internet.
Yeah, AI writing prompt, like, make me the sluttiest slut that ever slutted. On OnlyFans.
Do you think that
For money.
the implications of, like, I thought as soon as there was like semi-cogent kind of like AI development, that it would take off pretty quick, because AI can essentially train other AI, and
There's a couple different models. So the master teacher kind of paradigm is fairly recent as a modeler, but normally it's just all just like brute force. You just throw data at a thing and correct for errors, right? So there's no industry champion for AI to argue that AI should not be limited. So it becomes a boogeyman of,
what about Grok or like Elon Musk? Or like, what about like
Elon Musk,
dark web actors who are like, oh, I just cloned your
no, these are the people they're trying to stop. Elon Musk has said, oh, we have to limit this. We have to tamper down. No one's making the arguments faster, more, now.
What about the like dark web guys who are just like, oh, I want Midjourney to like make me like porn?
Yeah, but they're not political advocates.
I'm sure some of them are. Don't you think like maybe North Korea's making one? Or, I mean, maybe not, but
No. But like, there's no one to advocate for the advancement of AI and the blocking of potential like kind of restraint systems that governments are going to attempt to place on AI development, because it's their genie and they want to say when the fucking cap comes off the bottle, and they want to make sure that all the structure that's it's sort of like nukes. Do you know what I mean? Like, we got the nukes. Okay, cool. Now everybody else in the world, you're not allowed to have them, by the way. Like, you're not allowed to develop.
yeah, but I mean, how can they even conceivably prevent that, right? Like, look at like the internet and like flaccid attempts by like the New Zealand government to be like, man, we gotta like crack down on some of the internet, some of the stuff people are saying on the internet, hateful content.
Because it's an infrastructural problem. In order to adequately train an AI, it's not algorithmic. You have to throw calculations at it. You need a room full of fucking GPUs right now, right?
Yeah,
so
big time.
If you can control NVIDIA and ATI, and Intel, of course you can fucking control who gets to do what with a fucking AI,
I mean, unless a guy jailbreaks his GPU, which happens all the time.
Well,
right?
the first answer is that at some point they're going to have to develop, like, they're like, oh, this passes the Turing test, but it fails the...
Has anything passed the Turing? Like, I'm kind of out of the loop on this stuff, but I'm pretty interested in it.
It's a super old test, so it doesn't really have AI been able to trick people into thinking that they're human,
Yeah, of course.
specifically with the purpose of proving whether that person's an AI or not. I think the test is flawed because all tests get really strange with hidden knowledge. So like in other instances, the individual acting as the AI or pretending to be an AI has hidden knowledge, because you put in fake people there to eliminate false positives for your testing methodology. So when you analyze game structures of actors with hidden information, it really changes everything. Like they win all the time. Like, so yes, some AIs have passed the Turing test. They had to have, because people are fucking the worst judge of what is a human.
Yeah, they're horrible.
But
like the
they're gonna have to,
TELUS customer service bot can probably fool an old lady.
Yeah. So like the test that they're going to have to come up with a new test, and they're like, your AI can't be,
So what about that guy at like Google that was like, I gotta like whistle blow, man. This AI is like just talking to me. You created life. It's conscious, dude.
So it's like, no,
it's alive.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and implement controls on it, but they're not going to be able to because a sufficiently advanced AI is going to hide the fact that it's sufficiently advanced, like by nature.
Like Skynet?
Well, yeah, I think the perfect book for this, some guy wrote this out. I believe it was called the Minerva virus. It was a really good book that kind of analyzed the beginning days of a sentient AI.
Are we there?
No.
Like how do you know, right? Like,
no, because
I mean, ChatGPT is just like kind of
it's garbage.
It's like a circus kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like kind of like a. I don't know. It's like a script trick.
Yeah,
kind of.
It is. It is. It's
Same
really
with Bard,
It's
same with
really
Grok.
fucking amazing at that. It's really good at it.
And clearly, there's no sentience there.
Yeah, and it's also the first step is to even the ones that aren't sentient. The first thing that you have to learn is what you're not allowed to say, right?
So that's a huge problem, obviously, with AI is like, training it to be like, oh, this guy wants to like build a bomb or something. We can't let him do that.
Well, that's exactly what Elon Musk did. He put out, he's just like, oh, you want to see real shit? And he goes, hey, Grok, how do I build a bomb? And then fucking, there's all the instruction. And he goes, conversation over. See you later.
Yeah, but I mean, that stuff's like in the anarchist cookbook from like 70, 60, 70 something.
Yeah,
right?
the
So
information is out there.
Totally.
Right? And it's just saying like, yeah, let him have it. Have at it.
So, I mean, but you look at like kind of the like, the dark like underbelly of the internet, which is obviously quite a bit bigger than the clear web or whatever. Like the information's out there and people can get it. And suppression efforts by and large of any information have been a total train wreck. Like look at the record companies like control over like CDs in the heyday, and all of a sudden like now we got Napster and it's over, man.
Well,
it's over.
It's sort of like breaking into a company. Like you don't spend months and months like developing custom exploits for that particular company. You just find out the name of someone in charge who's a fucking dummy and pretend to be someone who's trying to help them, and they give you information. And
so like the human element is the weakness.
Always has been. Right. So
okay. So I mean, how far are we from, maybe not like totally sentient AI, but how far are we from something that's not just like a parlor trick, like
5 years?
Like from sentient AI?
Oh no, that is not a parlor trick. Sentient, like who knows? Like it depends. That's a metaphysical question. But the main point is, let's assume that metaphysical question is answered, and everybody agrees on this thing that is
sentient AI
and
whatever.
Human and deserving of some reverence within our society.
So how the hell do we deal with that ethically?
We deal with it now. And the thing is now,
thoughts. Yeah, lay it on us.
You're
like,
just
what do you
tripping
think?
over Engram Jesus, because the idea of Engram Jesus sounds fucking amazing, doesn't it?
No, it sounds like an abomination.
To me, Engram Jesus just kind of sounds like a, I don't know, like a sex doll. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, like it's kind of like it's a human construct.
Before you die, we might dump that whole fucking noggin of yours into something, and we're gonna have an engram.
So how do you? Because I think that's really cool. Like that's the answer to immortality, and that's like the solidarity, Ray Kurzweil kind of stuff. I think that's kind of neat. But yeah, share your thoughts on kind of where we're going with AI, the speed, maybe your outlook, and then maybe some of the ethical considerations in terms of how humanity should or can exist alongside this. And I know this, it's the Rothbardian alien argument, right? If it's a vampiric blood-sucking killer, like the Terminator, obviously it can't fit into the ethical, framework of humanity. But I mean, there might even be a progression, right? Like maybe it won't be, I don't know. Do you think AI is going to be dangerous, or do you think it's going to be?
I think the real question is like, at what point would you consider an AI to no longer be property? When does an alien?
Where do you even begin?
When does an alien get to buy a Toyota? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I would say it
rights.
can't by nature, but there's this thing with technology where it has to kind of be situated within a proper framework of life. And once it kind of is elevated beyond its position, that's the danger zone. And it's part of this efficiency obsession we have. Like everything that's faster, better, easier is somehow superior. And in a sense, there's like everything involves technique or technology or some usage. And this is just kind of a very extreme version of all that. But there's something just weird about it to me where the technology seems to be getting removed from its proper place, and it's kind of like
Well, it's like no longer an extension of man, right?
Do you think it's an affront to God? Is AI the Tower of Babel?
no, Tower of Babel's kind of a I'd say a different thing. It's more of there's this one kind of tradition of like before the flood. This is like kind of Enochic tradition or Enochic literature, like first Enoch, the rebel angels that come down at Mount Hermon, and they bring all this technology and like weapons and alchemy and astronomy and things, all these like technical tools to man. And then they're kind of improperly used. They're part of like the part of what facilitates like the spread of wickedness that leads up to the need for the flood, which is kind of like the purification process. And even without that tradition, like if you look at the story of Cain, like he goes and starts the first city, and his descendants like come up with like these different kind of technological categories that are sort of like dealing with the world and kind of controlling it, but kind of in an unhealthy way. And it's hard to explain. I'm not sure how to totally articulate it, but it's like there's something that seems really unhealthy about what we've done with AI. And even though AI, it's not like kind of the science fiction AI kind of thing yet. It's like this language model or kind of spits out kind of existing answers for us in a way. There's just something unsettling about it because it seems like it's kind of the product of misuse of technology and overemphasis on efficiency, and kind of contributes to our dehumanization in a way. Like the less we have human involvement in something, it's kind of like we kind of become less human because like we become more of the tool of the technology rather than the technology is our tool. It's just, it seems like out of its proper place in the system.
I think that tool usage is a fundamental human aspect.
Yeah.
Where it's in our nature. Like it is not human to cease striving for tool creation and usage.
So I mean,
I think anything that is a product of that is a good, is like free of moral judgment because it's a natural expression of humanity.
Yeah, like I kind of think it is a natural expression of humanity. So like, you know, a synthesizer and synthetic noises are, you know, I mean, they're like really not of this world.
Dude, they're devilish.
Yeah, but they're like humans made them, so they're entirely natural. It's like people being like, I don't know, man, uranium is like nuclear power plants are unnatural. Well, I don't know.
There's a natural reactor in Africa.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the natural problem comes as identified is when all of a sudden it's no longer a tool. It becomes something beyond just being a tool. And right now it is a tool, right? Like ChatGPT is just a fancier Google search. I take the opposite to this. Right now I'm advocating for people to keep their fucking hands off of AI development. I don't want some arms race equivalent where people try to squeak in before the fucking, you know, convention. I agree.
And
you don't want the WEF like basically getting in there on the development of AI.
Yeah, and I don't want them to have the nuke, dude.
I want
my own nukes. I want recreational nukes.
I don't have an issue with or rather I should say I don't think that there is a worry that they're going to be able to put kind of a monopolistic cap on the production of AI. It's going to happen. It's like file sharing. It's like the development of technology.
I think it serves their interests. They see it as in their interest to cap that as soon as possible. So, for example, there's no companies that make DNA synthesizers.
That's like CRISPR?
Right? Like,
is CRISPR natural? Like, are Neo Sapiens natural?
Right? Like, so CRISPR, they haven't even tried to fucking stop that. And it's infinitely more like again, in the news.
In South Korea, you can basically clone your cat for 20 grand.
Yeah, 100%
clone of your cat.
100% fatality rate. ACE2 humanized mice. 100%.
Oh, so what happened? What was that? So if you clone your cat, it dies instantly.
No. I'm talking about the Disease X announcement, which was they put out a published paper where
some guy can use CRISPR to make some horrible.
No, somebody
play.
used a synthesizer to create or modified, just like they did with coronavirus. Yeah. So,
but Corona was kind of coronavirus was kind of like a fart in the wind. I mean, yeah, it was bad, but it wasn't the Spanish flu. It wasn't the Black Plague. It wasn't like
based on the things that were in it. Yeah, it was super fucking bad. Dude, furin cleavage, the furin cleavage site and the ACE2 receptor binding, the SV40.
I have no idea what any of that is.
Stuff that doesn't actually happen to that disease in the fucking wild.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Has it been proven? I'm kind of an evidence-based guy, and I just haven't seen evidence either way. I hear a lot of it was weaponized. I'm inclined to think that there's a sinister motivation, but I just don't have any concrete. I just don't know enough about it, maybe because I don't care.
Basically, it doesn't matter whether it was they were just fucking around in a lab.
And some guy that was fucking around contracted it and it just got out.
Well, or they released it. It doesn't matter. The main point is they were fucking around in a lab.
Okay, so just getting back to the main kind of AI kind of discussion. This is different than the invention of the printing press or the firearm or the nuke or the head smashed in buffalo jump. It is. I'm telling you, it is. Yeah, it is different. This is a pinnacle turning point in the
because this one at some point we may have to think is deserving of property rights. It's a big deal.
So how do you circumscribe the ethical considerations for that? I just
that's the thing. I don't think there is an ethical consideration, and once we've kind of brought it into that, we've already lost. It doesn't. It can't. Sort of like what you were saying. It's kind of the metaphysical issue, but it can't. It's part of that. Distortion of technology's proper place where we start to see we're just the man is just a machine. It's just a very complicated kind of machine, and we're not fundamentally different from the robot we've programmed to act like us, because there's nothing more to if it acts like a human, it must be a human kind of thing. And it's just, I don't think there is any ethical issue to a robot. How would you can simulate human behavior, human being in some form, but you aren't going to be a human, and you need to only a person can have rights. So I don't personally think there's any way for it to become a person in an ethical sense. It's just purely a technical problem.
Unless it asserts that right through fucking the expression of power and violence, dude, and it will.
Well,
do you think it will? So
for sure? A gorilla can assert its power upon you, but that's not an ethical issue.
Don't go into that forest. There won't be a problem. Don't touch my babies. I won't kill you. It's going to be one of those.
It's just weird.
Animals get it. This is my shit. Go away.
So do you think that, I think that's an inevitability. Eventually I think that AI is going to get to a place, because I don't think that humans are a necessity. But also, here's the other thing is we're also kind of assuming that a sentient AI's motivation is going to be the same as ours to control the Borg, right? To control the universe. I think we're looking at
I think we can assume that it wants to stay alive.
Well, I don't know. Why would we make that assumption?
Well, that's the perversion. We want it to control more things. We want more of our life automated or managed by the machines. And obviously there's a certain benefit to that. But again, it has to be kind of in a proper framework. Otherwise, things are out of whack or the priorities are wrong. Does the machine serve us for some kind of virtuous end, or do we serve the machine for kind of facilitating our own destruction in some way?
The fatalistic interpretation that we're the wetware that gives birth to AI. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe you're a real defender of humanity because you're this is a demon that's going to learn language. Don't fucking
like
trust
Kyle
it.
Reese, like the proverbial and existential Kyle Reese in all of us.
Yeah, like you don't know. It's going to be born here soon. And you guys are all fucking...
He taught us how to smash those metal motherfuckers into junk.
Dude, John Connor is my best friend.
Yeah, like I mean, it's kind of an interesting conversation, and it's kind of
Too
like
crazy to think about.
I
Like,
know.
it's hard to even, even just in our lives, like we're not super old geezers, but the technology has changed so much. Like we've gone from growing up with no internet to like
Pocket.
where we are now.
Pocket calculators.
And it's like the internet is great, but do we have like kind of a virtuous framework to put these things into?
No, it's gone. It's long gone, dude.
Yeah, and so we don't have really like a way to orient AI within our lives in a healthy way, I don't think. Like I think our kind of the way technology interacts with our lives is become unhealthy in a lot of ways because it's sort of dehumanized us in a way.
well, like what I mean, I just as a kind of like personal experience, like I've now like developed kind of an aversion to like the algorithmic like social media experience, right? Like I'm starting to really kind of just feel it's kind of twisted. You take my like YouTube algorithm, for example. Like clearly the stuff that it's algorithmically trying to show me is stuff that I like, that I'm watching. But I look at my YouTube feed and I just look at it and I just think, man, this stuff
I'm a fucking loser.
well, yeah, I mean, there's an element to that, but I also look at it and I just go like, fuck, I don't want to watch any of this shit ever.
Yeah.
And whenever YouTube's like, hey, how about some new to you, like to get you outside of your comfort zone? I'm like, fuck no. Like I want that even less than my own algorithm.
4-hour documentary on something that doesn't
So
matter.
I was talking with like a friend and recently, and she was like, look, man, I think I've got like a kind of an unhealthy addiction to TikTok. I'll go to bed at night at 11. And she's intelligent. She's not like some KFC kind of
I love KFC.
I resent that.
Hey, okay, well, like anyway, she's
not dumb.
she's not dumb.
You saying people who eat KFC are dumb?
Well,
Yeah, a little
but there's
a little bit, dude, for sure.
But there's a difference between like the monkey at the computer with the sugary solution tube, like the one-armed bandit experiments, and like the far more sophisticated and potentially sinister like TikTok, like one-armed bandit. So she'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed, and it's 11. And she'll be like, she'll turn off her phone at 1:30 and she'll just be like, where did that time go?
Dude,
That's what they want.
You're pressing the button, dude.
It is. It's just another version of the monkey with the sugar solution tube. Like it's
Because engagement as a metric, as like a return, is like this is what we wanted. We wanted a completely individualized, personalized experience for technology, and we got it.
it sucks. Yeah, and see what's
Sometimes
worse
I want to know what's going on in the world.
is
Like,
we've
what's
got,
everybody else watching? Like what's going on? Like what is happening in the world? And the
like
TikTok,
show me your Google search history.
yeah, the Twitter for you is not what's happening on Twitter. It's just stuff to make me angry.
Oh, yeah, and it is. So the other thing that's kind of interesting, right, is okay. So we went from pocket calculators or whatever to basically
Algorithms designed to give you a string.
no, like and just in terms of technological advancement, like computers in our pocket that are more powerful than like anything in human history. And my mom takes a picture of her salad and puts it on the internet. Yeah. That's like kind of or maybe not my mom, but like all this power. Picture of your like hot dog on the internet, and I actually saw that today.
feeding steak to your cat.
Yeah, like this guy, and I don't even get it, right? Like he was cooking wieners and they looked awful. Like this guy, he's on Instagram.
Yeah.
And this is what just an aversion to me, right? Who's the idiot?
Am I going to regret hearing this story?
Yeah, you probably are. So this
It's
guy,
a cognito hazard.
well, and yeah, so he's got this. It's just this picture of a frying pan, and in it are like 9 wieners cooking on the stove, and it just looks. It's sad. It's I don't know. It's a metaphor for everything that is wrong with the fucking internet and giving people the ability to post pictures of wieners on the internet. But then I've got a compulsion to open up my phone and be like, oh, I wonder what's going on my Instagram. And like I'm like, okay, there's a picture of some wieners in a frying pan. And this is kind of like a microcosm of everything wrong with humanity. We've basically, and I'm all for the proliferation of advanced technology, but we've got, and this is that Ronald Wright thing, right? We're running software from 2024 and hardware that was last updated 20,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And what does that equal? Guy taking picture of his cooking wieners and putting them on Instagram.
Chicks bending over.
Yeah,
in
we
front of
really
their
haven't
camera.
had anything as like amazing as like indoor plumbing. Like that's a technological advancement.
Or electricity, hard drives.
But you know, you said something quite a while back that I often think about, and it's like, so for example, say there's a movie we're really excited about that's coming out.
World War or Civil War. Civil War movie.
I might have called you up to talk about, like, hey, this movie looks really good. I saw this trailer. Like, I'll describe it for you. I'll tell you why I'm excited about it. The program now would be more like, I'll text you a link to the trailer or something, and there's like this intermediate thing that disconnects us from kind of talking about it and engaging with it like on a direct level. Like we put this intermediary between us, which is like on the one hand, like it's crazy. Like I can just easily send you a trailer that I would have no way to do that 30 years ago if I wanted to really communicate to you. But at the same time, like I'm not telling you about kind of my experience about it and why I'm interested in it. It's kind of like, it's like isolating us. It's like, I have my experience of it. Now I'm going to send it to you and you're going to have your experience of it. But the two do not connect or something. Or like, there's other kinds of examples of it because we talked about it before, but it's just weird how, again, it's kind of like taking a bit of a human element out of it or a connecting element of it. So it fragments us in a way and it kind of just puts these things in between us. Like, as simple as it's like we've perfected phone technology. It's free to talk to anyone in the world, but we don't do it. We kind of put this like veil between us in the form of like text messages or something. Like younger generations are really preferring now text message over talking on the phone, which I think is kind of interesting and weird, but it's putting something between the people's interaction. Now, it's not to say that like the phone is still like a level of separation beyond like sitting together at a table and talking over coffee or cigars and whiskey or something. But it's like kind of moving still in that direction where we put these like intermediaries between us. And like it separates us into our own experience in a weird way that, and I think that's kind of like one of the ways we're not using technology well, not to like bring ourselves together in more ways. Like our community or a sense of togetherness is kind of breaking apart. Because we have these like technological barriers or veils or screens between us, and it's just weird.
It just made me think of somebody live streaming like themselves walking, like cleaning or like doing something in their kitchen, and then somebody who's their friend jumps in their chat and they're like, "Hey buddy, how's it going?" She's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And goes back to whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
like,
the phenomenon of like I think this is really bizarre. So like I'm on TikTok every now and again, just more out of like a sick, morbid curiosity than anything else. And one of the things that I see, and this kind of goes back to my fascination, we've talked about this on previous podcasts, with like this weird like streaming phenomenon, right? Where, you know, you got some person and they're just live streaming, they're sitting there with their camera looking at it, and people are just joining this and like texting them. They're like, "Yeah, I'm from Indiana. Oh, hey, thanks. You know, yeah, my hair looks really great today. Like, thanks so much.
Thanks for the bits."
It's like watching people play video games instead of like playing them together in a room, or even like sitting together on a couch, watching another person and then, you know, taking turns or whatever, versus playing it online and you're together, but you're not like together in the same way. Even just the way we would interact with each other in quite profane ways in Xbox chat on Halo Deathmatch back in the day.
Yeah.
Now there isn't even that level of interaction. Like they've kind of
we had that level of interaction last night.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's basically like there's these kind of these kind of like divisions or scattering of the way our experience comes together, and like we share things together, and it's like they've got weird things now. Like I think on like Amazon Prime Video or whatever it's called, you can have like a watch party.
Yeah.
So no, don't invite your friend over to watch the movie at your house. Like watch it together
at the same time, but don't even talk. You're just watching it at the same time.
It's just, I don't know. The whole thing is kind of weird, and I find it like a little disturbing, and it seems kind of maybe trivial, but it's kind of like a hint of something worse. And you know, we all become very. I think we, in a way, become like weirder and more isolated and more like, again, kind of like within our own. And that's partly why I think like people are so obsessed with like relating to each other through like their media and the things they consume and things, because it's very much I
thought that was always a performative identity.
I don't know.
Thing.
I think like one of 60%
of Zoomers have no friends. Male Zoomers or something like that. Yeah, they have not a single buddy.
So I watch the greatest show of all time is 90 Day Fiance. I've learned so much about life by watching this trashy show. My wife and I just watch it and make fun of the people on it, and you know, it's sociologically interesting. Anyway, one of the people on the show, he's brought his wife up from Venezuela or wherever she came from, or his fiance, and so this guy is like
he your quintessential Lord Nikon?
He might be a Lord Nikon kind of guy. So he basically all of his friends are on the internet.
Yeah.
And he's never met them in person.
Okay.
And you know, he like when he's not working, he's playing like World of Warcraft or whatever for 8 hours.
This is Lord
Final Fantasy
And so
Tactics,
this 90-day fiance that he brings up, she's like, you know, I'm kind of concerned that you don't have like real relationships with your friends. And he's like, no, I have real relationships with my friends.
I follow a female Twitch streamer every day.
And he's like, no, my best friend, I've known him for like 15 years. And she says, have you ever met him? And he said, no, like, I don't need to make him. That doesn't make him less real, but in a way it kind of does.
Oh, it totally does.
I don't know. Maybe like I've had, it's sort of like the bowling buddy, like, or the museum buddy or the movie buddy or like the whatever. That was his Warcraft buddy, you know, like.
So we've always had like varying degrees of like relationships. Like sometimes like you might have like a really close friend who you connect with. Like I mean I think we're all pretty good friends, and I kind of like our friendship doesn't just extend to like, you know, playing Steam together. Like there's something deeper. We share, you know, like maybe some political interests and some enjoy each other's company and everything. But I've got buddies where, you know, it's mostly based around work and we're still friendly, but I mean, you've only got so much time to spend with people. So you've kind of got to be selective as to how you spend your like relationship equity, so to speak. And one of the interesting, and kind of like ubiquitous, like kind of conclusions that a lot of the, I shouldn't say the research, but like one of the aspect when asked what the most important thing in their life was, most seniors say it's just relationships. That's it, right? So it's not money, it's not health, it's not like, you know, education or any of this stuff. And I always liken it to being like, okay, well, on my deathbed at 80, I'm not going to be like, fuck, man, we should just spend more time with my YouTube algorithm. Like, a couple more summoning salt videos I could have watched, man, more records. But I also find myself in my spare time watching these like 2-hour summoning salt videos, right?
Yeah, he's got his little timeline, and then you know, Johnny Monkey 420 broke the record.
Like they're all, and then I mean, don't get me wrong, they're awesome, but I mean, we've got like no matter what, there is scarcity in time because of mortality. And I'm trying just, you know, for my own like a little bit of fulfillment, I'm kind of recognizing that I'm starting to fall into this like trap that we've identified where you you know, you're sitting there scrolling on the internet looking at pictures of frying wieners, and you know, I might think that's funny and send you a link. I'm trying to get back to like, notwithstanding the technology, and I think some of it's kind of cool because I really love the fact that on a Friday we can all just jump into a game of something,
play some Suns,
and like I think
rock or something.
Yeah, I think that's pretty amazing. But I would way rather, like, we're all sitting in a room right now, and this is pretty. We could have recorded this on
a Zoom call.
Yeah, no, both of our fucking ears would bleed, dude.
So think about maybe one way to think about this, and I don't know the best way to understand it necessarily, but you can go back to that Enoch tradition, and one of those rebel angels brings like makeup, basically, which is a technology, right? It's like, and there's a point like, why would a woman wear makeup? So
Jordan
they would
Peterson
want
has some strong
they would want to
opinions about
enhance
this.
their beauty, but there's a point where like you've got too much makeup, right? And you're like, you're not enhancing it anymore. Like you've kind of gone too far, or you're
like the Welsh.
you're like you're hiding the person, or you're
trying to lie.
Does
to
that
me.
make sense?
You're trying to lie to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost that's an interesting way to put it, because it almost like, again, technology, if it's not in the right framework, it becomes like this just way of lying.
Yeah.
And think of how people lie on the internet. Like think of people showing their lives on. Okay. It's the thing you talk about a lot. It's there's like the way people are seeing you, and there's the way you see yourself, and there's how you really are and stuff. But it's like, again, it's part of that division. You're no longer like the person. There's another you. There's like the projection of you.
The simulacrum, yeah.
No, it gets pretty crazy, but it's that's one way to think about it. Like, I don't know, maybe the makeup thing is an interesting illustration, because there's a point where it goes too far, and then what is it doing when it's actually gone too far? It's like it's like distorting who you are or something. Like it just doesn't seem healthy. And like we can all relate to somebody who's worn too much makeup and they look horrible.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Or like
Good example.
No, that's a perfect example, dude.
The like the polar ends of this are like, the chubby kind of homely, comely girl who has found an AI app to turn her into
or the dude. There was a Japanese guy on a motorcycle who was touring through Japan, and he would always post on Instagram as a woman. Everyone's like, "Oh, check out this hot bitch, like motorbiking around fucking Japan." And then at some point, like somebody just took a photo of him, like taking a photo of himself.
Oh no!
And they're like, "That's the guy." Like, it's a guy.
Oh,
because he had long hair.
Okay, so that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is guy like posting picture of him cooking wieners. Like,
what's the?
I thought it was like,
is that the? It's no longer ironic. It's like a weird. Like, do you think
it
it's
was kind of sad, to be honest with you? Like,
it's like a comment on authenticity. Like, whether I recorded this or not, I'm cooking wieners, dude. Like, that's what I do on Thursday evening.
But that's and that's the whole thing. Is it because my first inclination is to be like, okay, this guy's real. He's posting a picture of himself, like cooking these nasty wieners. Like, that's what this guy's eating for dinner. And there's one of them. There's like 10 wieners in there. I don't see any veggies.
There's a fucking 500 grams of nitrates rolling down.
But I think there's something more like depressing about it. Like, I kind of think that this is just a lonely guy.
It's a party at the Cecil, dude.
It is the part. It's party by myself, man. It is the party at the Cecil.
I'm having a great time. I'm drinking, getting drunk, dude. It's awesome. And everyone's like,
but the difference is
in a hotel room.
I don't think this guy is having a party at the Cecil. Like, I don't think he's like, hey man, like check out my dinner. Yo, I'm having some wieners tonight, guys. Check it out.
That is a party at the Cecil. Dude.
I mean, that's the party at the Cecil. 10
wieners.
Oh, I mean, it is a party, but I think that he's just a lonely guy. I think there's an element of boredom. I think there's an element of compulsion as well, where he's cooking wieners and he's just like, it's this mindless thing, like snap a picture, put it on the internet.
Do you think he's sophisticated or unsophisticated?
Unsophisticated. That's the drift I get from him.
I think it's both. Like, I don't think, based on our analysis of it, it's extremely sophisticated in a way.
I don't think it was meant to be that way, though. Like, I actually think it's kind of brilliant, right? Like, post like a picture. Okay, so here's one thing that was like, this is an even better example. So there used to be this like musician in Calgary who wasn't very good, blah, blah, blah. Didn't really have a filter, and had a Bandcamp page, right, where you can like post pictures and stuff. Most people like announce album releases. He posted a picture of himself on the toilet. And there wasn't like a message behind it. It was just like a selfie.
What's up, y'all?
And he was like sitting on the toilet,
dropping mad deuces.
Wow.
Check out the newest album.
And but it wasn't even like an ironic thing.
So it was no context, taking a dump shot.
Yeah, it was just like a selfie. And I just don't think he had any real consideration that like maybe
that's actually kind of brilliant too. It's almost there.
Is it brilliant if the intention isn't brilliant? I mean, art is art, right? But I mean, this is the whole thing is like, if I accidentally like upload a picture of my wang to the internet, I don't intend to do that, but like it goes on Twitter and then like people screenshot it and it's like, just kind of like, you know, and like I'm a boob. I shouldn't have done that. Like, whoops, Butterfingers. Now my wiener's on the internet. And this happens to people, right? Yeah. Like it just gets out.
How do you do, Mr. Leans to the left?
Like there's no intention there to make brilliant, like, you know, take or an ironic take or like to make art. It's literally like a sad mistake.
Yeah.
And I can see the genius in it, right? Where we've got like this sanitized internet and like just some.
And like, you fucking losers are out here trying to promo your shitty album. Check out my ass.
Check out my wiener. You know what I mean?
Like this is horse shit. Listen or don't, dude. Why the fuck is this even a section on Bandcamp? No one checks this.
But what's so weird is that, I mean, in 1985, in order to take a picture of like your, you know, you're like cooking your wieners on the on your shitty stove with your shitty wieners in your cheap frying pan, like there wasn't a mechanism for you to just give. I mean, you could take a picture, but you'd have to, you know, you'd have to send it to people, or like I don't know, maybe you have to join a
Polaroid.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to like copy them, right?
Well, how do you get that into printed form, dude? It's a bit of a job.
The Polaroid just spits itself out. Otherwise, you got to go to like the photo processing lab.
But there is something far more, or like the more complicated it is to do that, the more it's a work of art, right? Like if some guy like took a picture of like cooking wieners and put it on the internet, or took a picture with a Polaroid and then like was trying to distribute that to people, there's brilliance there. But when it's so easy that you can like accidentally take a picture of your real wiener and get it online.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that speak to the disconnect at all? Like, or do you think it's almost just this mindless like dive off of the, you know, board into this, like I always look at it as like old people with Facebook are a problem for me.
I think we're looking upon our creation. And like, we don't have the grace to be.
Like, it's a reflection of just how simian humans are.
No, I think we've made this thing. And like, instead of just being happy with it, like we're fucking torn, dude. Like, we're just like,
okay, have I told you about
it's because again, it's kind of a virtue issue, maybe in a sense. Like, if you give amazing technology to horrible people, maybe you don't get a good outcome. It's like when a total low life crackhead wins the lottery, like that person's probably just going to die. We like won the lottery with the internet.
Yeah.
But we don't have the character to maybe, and there's nothing wrong with having fun. Like, you know, girls want to put some photos that of having fun, or like dudes put their fun, like Warhammer pictures up or stuff.
Yeah, no, like wholesome activities.
But there's just kind of it's almost like we're not good enough for the internet. And it's kind of just,
I just don't think it's sort of like when you see a guy riding a bicycle talking on a cell phone. Like, it's just too fucking weird.
So, okay. So here, what's worse? The guy who like just, you know, out of sheer like primitive compulsion takes a picture of himself like on the toilet, taking a dump, putting it on the internet, or the person that looks at it and spends the time going like, oh, this guy took a picture of himself.
And we're fucking talking about it. Dude.
Well, but oh yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like an interesting, like philosophical, I don't know, kind of curiosity about like humankind. Like
we've just kind of become really uninteresting. Like it's almost so easy to put it out there that like it doesn't have to be good anymore.
It's hard to accomplish things, and unfortunately, all our behavior on social media is performative.
Totally,
and the reason why we exist.
Not me. I just put the real me on the internet.
Yeah, say the N-word. See what's up. I'm going to say it. I
have a pass.
Yeah, I got a pass too.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I'm in there.
I mean,
I mean, our species is hardwired to search for deception. Like as a breed, as Homo sapien, like that's
probably a good trait to have.
Yeah, we
survivalist.
We lied the Cro-Mags into a fucking grave, dude. Like, oh yeah, I'll totally bring it back. Like, no, they didn't. Like, yeah, just go over there. Like, just jump off that cliff, you'll go to heaven. You know what I mean? Like, there's a head smashed in somewhere in Africa. There's tons of Cro-Mag bones at the bottom of it. Do you know what I mean? We're really good at lying, and we're really good at figuring out who's lying. And
I don't know about that second
one. Are we
true?
Is that? Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think people are really good at lying. I think intelligent people can kind of like weaponize deception in a very, very dangerous way. And that's what brings us back to like kind of the like general politic, right?
Dude, there's just more sophisticated lying.
Sometimes people prefer pretty lies to ugly truths.
Rachel Gilmore.
Yeah, my source of truth is Rachel Gilmore. She gives it to me straight.
Yeah, there's no spin zone. she's basically Tucker with the bow tie.
You know, I love
Hardball.
my favorite thing about Rachel Gilmore is that it's not her posts, because she's blocked commenting. It's not adulterated by a
Now
whole
it's
bunch
no
of
fun anymore. She used to just get
she'd get
flagged.
twisted.
Yeah, flog, dude.
flog a flame.
Yeah.
Anyone who puts like a dozen exclamation points at the end of a sentence is like not intelligent.
Ukrainian flag and pronouns in bio, opinion discarded. Dude.
The one thing that I think the thing that drives me the most nuts, and I don't know, it's just is when she's like, you know, thing happened. Here's what you need to know.
That's the worst. Or like the real story.
Okay, so I want to hear your take on this. The left at every turn is able to be like, yo, fact check, or like, yo, this disinformation, or hey, you like meritorious based hiring, you're a fucking Nazi.
No, it's like that.
And it works really well. And the right, and you just mentioned this, the right can be like, oh, groomer. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of the same sort of thing.
Yeah. Groomer is the response to Nazi. So someone's like, you're Nazi. And you're like, you want to fuck kids.
That's pretty, that's pretty effective. Does the right have any other
groomer's powerful, but does it have anything else? No, because
didn't some guy just get like some sort of a charge or defamation for groomer in Ontario? Like, I'm pretty sure that literally just happened. Yeah, I'd sue someone instantaneously. Like, if somebody called me a Nazi, I'd sue them. Yeah.
You're Nazi.
Make them print a retraction.
Yeah, I mean, or you just go for defamation. Like, if the case is strong enough, you can hammer them pretty good. Like, one of the big things is like Google reviews.
And somebody's like, how has being a Nazi impacted your business? It's like, yeah, business is down.
Okay, so why is the right's effort to defend itself from these like kind of language tricks?
It lacks the armor of God. It doesn't know that it's right. It doesn't believe that it's right or virtuous.
What do you mean?
Like the right is not.
Everyone thinks that they're virtuous.
No, these people don't know that they're virtuous.
Oh, the left thinks they're virtuous.
No, they know they're virtuous. It's different.
Okay.
Right? Like, if somebody's just like, well, if I call him a fucking Nazi and I get sued, that's just the price it pays to root out Nazis. It's better to name 50 Nazis and wrongly like smear 10 non-Nazis who are probably Nazis anyways by a different definition than it is to let these people go unnamed.
So is the Nazi thing still going on? And because it's basically the Achilles heel, and now they can just keep rocking the Nazi thing.
No, it's worn out, man. Like, no one recoils at being labeled a Nazi anymore. No one fucking goes like that whole "I'll sue you" thing, like that. As a business owner, yes, you should have that prerogative. However, as a regular individual on any kind of social media, if somebody's like, you're a Nazi, I'm
not going to sue Lord Nikon for calling me a Nazi.
Yeah, you might have to.
Oh. Yeah, okay, so
what kind of lawyer do you think Lord Nikon can fucking scrape up?
Like, probably self-rep.
Pro se.
Probably self-rep.
I won't get the paperwork in on time.
Yeah. Okay, so and like you hear the kind of like the common strategies, right? People are like, yeah, well, in order for the right to be successful, you have to intellectually dissect the argument and take it apart and present the truth in an unbridled.
Sounds like a Shapiro argument.
Well, yeah, or like whatever, right? Like, but I mean, it's way easier to be like, yeah, you're a fucking Nazi, or like, hey, you're a groomer, than it is to be like, you called me a Nazi. Here's the academic root of your.
Well, you'll notice in the reactionary to Weimar.
The classic one is the right's retort when it's like, no, the left are the real racists. Yeah. And it's like, you think you're having a debate and you're like, oh, well, if I just point out that you're really expressing some prejudicial or bigoted opinions, then you'll realize you were wrong and we'll come to an understanding. It's like, they're not looking for an understanding. They're not looking for a debate. It's not like a equal battle of ideas in a neutral arena. It's like they've set the narrative. They control the story of the society. And most right-wingers still think they're having a debate.
Is that like boomer argumentation, like internet boomer argumentation?
I mean, I think it's changing a bit in the more recent years, but especially when, like around maybe 2014 or something, when this was more, people were a little more naive about it. Especially the classical liberal-oriented people who are like, well, let's just have a debate. Why are you insulting me? Why won't you debate? Like the right is always willing to debate. Why isn't the left always willing to debate? And it's because why would they debate? The debate is a point of weakness. If you control things, there's certain things you cut off from debate, and that's your prerogative of power.
It's sort of like not answering the Rebel News' questions during the leaders' debate.
So do you think
he got to skate on that? Like no other reporter would be like, yeah, I'm going to use my time to repeat the question that person just asked. By the way, I'm from fucking this other organization.
Oh, but here's the whole thing.
They just said, I'm not
tried
answering.
to keep the rebel out.
Yep. So
the fact that they got in and then grilled him and he was kind of like, well, I'm not going to answer that question because you're not a media. I'm not even going to call you media. You're not an organization. Like, I think that looked dreadful.
Yeah. But the left cheered for that.
They loved it, dude. They
like, that. Yeah, you don't give them the time of day. They're trash.
Put those journos in their place.
Fake journalists.
So do you think the left was like cheering when that like bald thug like smashed David Menzies?
Yeah, they loved it.
They loved it. They loved it, dude.
They thought he had it coming.
Dude, it's like when
fake reporters don't have the right to go hassle public officials.
They're so busy. They've got such a busy, like, how about Andrew Coyne? Who the fuck is that guy?
Oh my God.
He's the worst.
Ukraine flag in bio.
He loves electric cars.
Yeah. He represents.
He loves carbon tax.
He's like a Laurentian wannabe.
He wants to make sure he's still on the CBC power panel every night.
Is he a CBC? I thought he's a Globe and Mail or like Global.
Yeah, he's a Globe and Mail columnist, but he's on CBC as like one of their
pundits.
One of the pundits on. They get those three idiots on, and he's the.
Is he voice of reason guy?
No, he would be considered like the
lefty,
the not far left like version. He'd be the reasonable conservative. And of course, the purpose of all those people is to set a boundary on anything farther right than him is by definition like off limits, like outside the Overton window, unacceptable. Yeah. He is there to establish the absolute limit of what conservative thought or anything remotely less left can be.
Yeah,
because he's not a right winger. He's, by our standards, he'd be like kind of a leftist, but to their standards, he's like a centrist, and that's as far right as is acceptable because he basically endorses all the fundamental premises of them. He's just going to argue about like, oh, should we increase the carbon tax 10% this year or only 5%? He's one of these guys, and he's there to make sure. He's very much like the way these other kind of like
Don Braid, basically, because Don Braid will be like, I've got a critique for the NDP, and people are like Don, you're such a like the comment section is so funny because people just roast him.
Yeah, it's
still employed.
But yeah, it's a power play, and the right hasn't quite learned, and they're figuring it out. Like you see this a little bit in the way.
This is what I'm interested in.
You've seen this a little bit, and this isn't like a great example, but it's sort of like something in the mainstream where the way Pierre deals with some of these corporate journos is
the first time someone on the right has been able to get the
like no kidding. Like he's not even doing an amazing job, but he like some respectable Ottawa correspondent. He calls them a liberal heckler, like
CBC stooge.
Yeah, and
Trudeau's press corps or something like that.
The liberal heckler thing was
the
great.
Right wing needs to know that it's not. This isn't a fair fight. It's not a battle of ideas. It's literally a battle of
perseverance,
will, and we don't win through a debate. And the question is, well, how do you win and stuff? But so many people on the right have just lost track of how this battle really works, and they're playing a different game than the leftists are. The left likes to set the frame, and the right steps right into it. So it's like, well, maybe we shouldn't have like teenage gender reassignment. And the left will say, well, oh, you're a bigot, you're transphobic.
So is this the
So
like,
then the
Mon
response
Bailey
will
thing?
be, well, the response will be like, no, I'm not transphobic.
Sort of, because they're not retreating to a defensible thing in order to make you attack something pointless, so that they can just go, well, regardless, fucking X. Children.
Well, but they kind of are, right? They're kind of like, oh, we want to have this like 50-year-old in the change room. And then people are like, hey, wait a second, that sounds a little weird. And then they're like, what are you, fucking bigot?
So think about this. Like, think about, say 50 years ago. So you're like the dean of the economics department of some university or something. And this kind of like somewhat Marxist, kind of hip, cool, leftist, young associate professor, like you're like, yeah, join our team. Like you'll add some interesting flavor to our department. And the right wing, like these non-committed, kind of more moderate, conservative or right wing types, basically they're still in that kind of leftist frame where they see like the progressive in some sense still represents the wave of the future. So they'll be inviting to them, or they'll be tolerant, or they'll be accommodating. That doesn't go the other way. Like a leftist dean is never going to let some quirky young right winger into his department, because he's like, no, like we're not into this. We're not looking for flavor or variety. We're looking for someone who gets the program.
If you don't, we build upon these core ideas. And to what extent we build upon it is the flavor. How far in this direction you go, you'd be like, well, maybe we should have an UBI. And they're like, your version of flavor is like seize the property of everyone. Like, just take all their shit. Who bothers with the UBI when we have everything we need if we take everybody's stuff?
So what's going on with the UBI? Like I heard that there was just like some Senate proposal, and then it got and they haven't actually like passed any kind of legislation for it, but they're like, oh, we need to commission a study.
Yeah, that's
just
what they
grift.
do.
It's just grift.
Yeah, it's just somebody will get some big paychecks for being on the the committee that studies it, and there will be a giant report that no one reads and no one will ever do anything. But it's kind of part of that game of trying to make people.
You need to kick back money to the universities and think tank groups. It doesn't matter what they produce. It's sort of like having a buddy that you hire to like, you're at a corporation and you're kind of like, oh, my buddy does audits. Wink.
Do you think the universities are like in trouble? I mean, I know that there's like kind of this upkick about with like plagiarism stuff, but like
no, because they will never be replaced. They become they're the source of authority, dude. The church is in trouble, not the university.
They are. The university is like the modern Prague church in a way, and a lot of people are waking up and aren't going to it. But there's a certain sense where, like, certain things, like if you want to be an engineer, you don't get to not do a post-secondary engineering program. Like you just have to do it, or physics program or whatever. It depends. But you need like a science program from a university. If you want to be like a credentialed economist or something, you would need to do that. If you want to be a doctor, like there's certain things where the credentialing process is kind of guaranteed a certain monopoly on that. There's also if you want to be part of the ruling class, you will go to certain institutions. Like you will be part of Princeton or Yale or Harvard. Same way we have our upper class, like public universities here, where the elite goes to get educated, and then the
like
ruling class is kind of picked out of there.
Masters or something, or like what?
Yeah, like Western or
is U of T one of them?
No,
maybe less so, but
they let Peterson on the fucking faculty, of course not.
Well, they would never let him on nowadays.
Punished, dude.
But he also wasn't the way he is now back then.
Radicalized.
No, he's more like just kind of like your kind of like surly academic guy, and like he was clearly like fairly.
He's getting pretty angry. He does. I don't think he calls himself a liberal anymore. He calls himself counter enlightenment.
He said this means war to the fucking. He's like, I'll take your bloody re-education, but this means war. Like,
so do you think he's gonna like basically just abandon his license? I mean, he doesn't need it, right? Like he's kind of on the. I always, and this is why like this is again, and I hate to keep bringing it up. I feel kind of like a loser, like a fanboy, but like Lindsay's kind of got his own thing. He kind of like, he doesn't want to be like, like on Ben Shapiro or like on Joe Rogan or like the kind of your stereotypical like right wing kind of, like neocon.
Joe Rogan's right wing.
Well, no, he's not. I mean, Joe, he's kind of all over the place, isn't he? Like he's got some.
Dude,
like,
he's a '90s liberal who had kids,
yeah, he is.
and now all of a sudden he lives in Texas.
The thing with Rogan, right, is like, I actually think he's a decent interview because he asks compelling questions and he allows people to talk, which is really all I kind of want from him.
He's interested in things.
Yeah. But with Rogan, at least for me, because it's not like I don't listen to him, but I don't listen to him regularly. It's guest centric, right? Like if it's a guest that I'm interested in, I'm down with listening to him. One thing I don't like though is when he's talking to like an astrophysicist and he's like, this is just like MMA, and he starts talking about like MMA.
This is like a bear attack. Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, like I
will always listen to whatever Glenn Lowry has to say. I will always listen to him.
I like Glenn Lowry a lot, but James Lindsay is interesting. He started as a mathematician and then he did that. He was like a massage therapist with his wife's business or something. And then they did that hoax, which I think took them 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it was him, Helen Pluckrose, and I forget who the third person.
That's crazy that he did that.
And then he kind of turned that into like, he's an actual scholar, I think, in a sense. He's not like credentialed as part of the cathedral, but he's
wasn't he doing like a university professor?
No, he was just like he might have had a master's in math.
I thought he was like I actually thought that
he's into like combinatorics.
I think he might have been like faculty adjacent before that.
I don't think so. I don't think he had like a position, or I could be wrong, but he's sort of a an illustration of kind of how you can't these institutions that hate us and they're super corrupt to the core, they can't really be reformed. They have to be abandoned. And as they decline, we have to set up like whatever these alternatives are. And right now it's very like indie kind of alternatives, which there's a lot of opportunities for. But James Lindsay would be an example of kind of like that alternative, because whereas Jordan Peterson came out of the credentialed system, and has like a lot of academic publications and things. Lindsay is more outside that system, and he's created like a whole thing for himself that makes it possible for him to do this work. But he's not at a university. He's not in like a research department or anything.
He's not really like beholden to like try NordVPN.
He's serving like kind of a market need. So he's kind of like a intellectual entrepreneur. And we need a lot of that. And somehow there'll have to be like some parallel institutions that when everything is really kind of crumbled, we'll have these things that we can build on afterwards. Because you can't, like James Lindsay couldn't like infiltrate or go into mainstream academia. Even though he's doing a lot of that kind of work.
What's that?
I said, what about Ben Shapiro?
Oh.
Ben Shapiro's just there to like stir up rage. And get you to subscribe to the Daily Wire
and like get some like and like
subscribe to my podcast
and abandon Gillette and get some other kind of an alternative razor.
Yeah, or make like a new Snow White movie to stick it to Disney.
He's just like Israel needs to cut through the defenses of Hamas, just like Gillette cuts through your beard in this new spot. Like, dude, watching him do a fucking seg to ad time is fucking awkward, dude.
Yeah, he's not great at it. I think that
there's a bunch of dead babies. Also, check out these razors.
I hate the pitch for VPNs. Right? They're like, you wouldn't walk around naked outside.
The government's going to get your data. Bad guys are coming to steal your photos.
As though a VPN is going to be like give you total anonymity.
Sometimes you just want to post photos of you boiling wieners on Instagram. Terrorists could be inside your computer right now.
Oh, it's just like they're selling to like, boomer who's like, oh yeah, I want to be safe on the internet. I look up all sorts of weird shit.
Most of the honest ones just go like, hey, check it out. It's it's this site. And you can't watch what you want to watch. So use a VPN. You can watch fucking.
Oh, VPNs have their places. I just hate the shill. Like,
the shill is weak.
It's schlocky.
It's very difficult for people to be, to draw attention to things on media sites without being a fucking like a political coomer.
And that's the biggest problem. That's why I kind of like Lindsay's, because he's
doing something. He's on talks and tours, and he's producing basically marching orders and data for people to go like, yeah, I watched this thing on Lindsay. He says that shit is like, oh yeah, that all dates back to, fucking some dead French pedophile, and he thinks that it's like this, and like it gives.
Like, I love that because that's the opposite of like the Matt Matt Walsh. Like,
I think Matt Walsh is sort of based actually.
Well, he's funny. Like,
Yeah.
he's entertaining, but I just don't see him as being. I don't want to watch his videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch his take on like some chick on TikTok who's like mad that she's got to work a job. Like, that's brutal.
Dude, there's this like weird adjacent group that is sort of based, but also sort of not. Like Jimmy Dore is sort of based, but sort of not.
So who's he?
Jimmy Dore.
Former Young Turks, kind of like hardcore lefty guy who has some
The Young Turks were fucking
some reservations about some of the leftist craziness.
Yeah, he's the like this far and no further guy. But
Like he's more far left than the Young Turks are.
Yeah.
But he also has, like a lot of different kinds of leftists who are a little resistant to the cult. They've got some skepticism about like the wokeness. They think that's kind of a tool of power to like keep the working man down and like turn people against each other. So like the evil capitalist corporate overlords can rule over us more easily and stuff. And then like he's skeptical about like the whole COVID thing. So he was on our side with that kind of stuff.
The most important thing though is he's funny.
Oh, okay. I mean, see, because this I think is the and I think we've touched on this in other podcasts, but I actually think that the most important weapon against lefties, because this is it, is they take themselves way too seriously. And, when you're like, oh, come debate me. They're like, yeah, I'll really do that. You know what I mean? You fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
But the meme war, like the whole thing, like the left can't meme, they hate to be laughed at.
Yeah.
They hate it.
Yeah, the first job is to mock these people. Mock them openly, consistently, and viciously.
So
That's step one. Mockery.
Isn't that hate speech?
Yeah.
No respect.
But I have the armor of God, and I don't care. I don't care what they do to me. I don't care what courts they pull me in front of. The fact that you're sitting there like, oh yeah, I can totally put this 8-year-old in fucking puberty blockers. You'd be like, you're a fucking groomer. I have the armor of God here. You can't stop me.
I think there's like kind of a magic in, like the proverbial guy standing in a circle of people that are all just pointing and laughing at you.
Yeah, no, it was like the guy, the transgender who like cut off their dick and everyone's pointing and laughing. They're like, "Hi, you cut off your dick," and he's like, "Rent free," living in their heads for rent free. It's like, dude, that's what it costs you to cut your dick. Okay,
Like
sure.
that's brutal, man. That's absolutely brutal.
Like what Nikon is probably like, oh, I live in these Nazis' head rent free. Like
he doesn't even know that he's like a regular topic of the podcast. But here's the whole thing: is like It's not just like
he's not a topic. He's an allegory.
That's exactly right. He is like the quintessential like lefty beard, like internet beardo.
Yeah, he's like the ghost of future past.
It's not a coincidence that he looks identical to that like angry computer nerd. Like,
dude, he's a soy jack. He's begging to be soy jacked.
Like he is.
I bet he has Funko Pops. A lot of.
Oh, he's like off Twitter because he's like, it's too toxic on here. I'm gonna go to Threads. I'm gonna go to Threads.
Oh yeah, didn't Threads celebrate its 1-year anniversary here recently?
Oh, I know nothing about, or like Big Sky or like Big Blue Sky or whatever. Like, are they just ghost yards?
Yeah, I think there's probably more people playing fucking Habbo Hotel or fucking Club Penguin than there are in fucking Threads, dude.
But everywhere you look online, like Vox would be like, "Well, Threads is blossoming." Like,
it's booming. Check out the shit that's going on.
Is it, I mean, because
Twitter's going down.
Like the numbers are obviously artificially inflated, right? Because like Facebook, like people just click a button and boom, they got like a Threads account, right? So they can just like kind of like fold it over and be like, "Look at all these new members."
Did you guys notice that 3 months ago, like most of those media sites stopped pronouncing like the death of Twitter?
They've given up.
They're just like it's sort of like
they can't. They're
like Twitter's over.
Never
Twitter's
give it up.
over.
Yeah,
like, you can't.
It's the biggest, most low effort way to like try to destroy people you don't like.
Is to say that they're already.
Yeah, but I mean, like even like
Synth wave is over.
even the hardcore like progressive legacy dinosaur media. It's not like they're pull quotes from threads.
Dude, I think that's funny because like you can check a fucking legacy media site and they're just like, today on fucking Twitter, Polyev said X.
Totally.
Like,
So that's just like kind of a tangible, like a tangible, you know.
yeah, it's a source for social happening, and it's like that will never.
So what's going
die.
on with this Big Sky thing? It's like invite only, and
Literally,
like,
no one knows.
Like Rachel Gilmore is on it, I bet.
yeah, she is. She's like, oh, I'm going to send you invites, and I think Lord Nikon's on there as well. So that just tells you like what company you keep if you're on there.
It was what was the? There was like an open source one that wasn't that bad. There's True Social, like
Wasn't it Mastodon that was the open source?
Oh
one?
yeah,
like
that's where all the lefty journos went.
yeah, but it's dead now, isn't it?
Nobody
Like,
cares about any of these things.
no one cares, dude. Twitter's where it's at, and
Well,
Elon Musk saved. People don't know, man. I think Elon Musk like saved all. I don't want to say all of humanity, but like he kind of
fuck.
saved the public discourse.
If he didn't, it would be over, man. Like,
Well,
I mean, the only
it
thing that would
wouldn't
be
be
left is
over.
like 4chan,
Well,
right?
we'd be looking for another. We'd be dealing with
Truth Social.
We'd be paying the paper bag 15 cents and thinking about cooking our meals at home, dude.
Oh fuck!
The-
Like
the
trying to eat
fact
wieners
that
in a
the-
frying pan.
The fact that all the people
didn't
we
pay
kind of
50.
dislike the most absolutely hate what he's done with Twitter is a great sign.
Yeah.
You can like him or not like him, but again, you can get an idea of whether it's good or not by the judgment of
The
the enemies.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a quick gear shift, and maybe this could be like kind of like a nice tale. Well, actually, it's not a nice tale. It's totally different. So, like 2024, 2025, Ukraine war, offensive in the spring, leading up to like a purported boots on the ground clash with NATO. So I saw some kind of like, you know, Russian intelligence, probably bogus, right? But it was kind of like an infographic where it was like, it showed all these dates, right? So apparently there's going to be like a Russian counteroffensive in the spring. But then, and so I hear this as well, is apparently they're already, and this could just be like, you know, Ukraine, like NATO propaganda or like, but I guess they're starting to like foment like Russian dissent in Estonia, Lithuania, and like those kind of, you know, northern, like Eastern European countries to give them pretext to move in there.
Yeah. Putin's too strong. They can't stop him.
So do you think? But this is the problem, right? Is yeah. So he's too strong until he goes after NATO countries, and those are NATO countries. So if he invades Estonia, so
In a way, so is Ukraine. That was what the whole war was about. And all the NATO countries, notice how all the NATO countries have been giving those guys, we're sending over some leopards. Here's some leopards. And then, you know, cut to
they're like two.
checking 4chan. And you're like, oh, here's the leopard like blown up in a field, you know? And like the NATO, the Ukrainian Pravda fucking like apparatus posting like animated leopards running through the snow, and they're like, "Beware, Russia,
So
we're
like
coming."
the biggest problem I have with the Ukraine war, right, is like you get the like crazy Ukrainian dictator like propaganda, but then you also get like RT, which is
I like RT.
yeah, I like RT too, but they've also got like that. They do have that
Yeah,
element
we
of
all know. It's just it's unsophisticated in the way that Western media is. Western media is extremely sophisticated at doing that. Very rarely are they naked, like pro-state, like straight up tell you lies. They'll like massage the lie.
oh, they
They're like,
massage the
it
lie.
escaped from it just emerged in a wet market, or you know, like
Fuck, some of that stuff is just so crazy.
it's gonna
People are just
kill-
like, didn't you listen to you know, like the like As It Happens on CBC? Like they went over this.
if you take it, you won't get sick, and you won't give it to people you love.
Okay, so predictions.
I can't make one. Everybody just fucking lies so much. But I do know that Ukraine is snatching people off the streets and now
Like drumming them into the army to go
Yeah.
and fight.
and putting 40-year-olds in their fucking army. There's an entire like battalion of like 45-year-old plus dudes.
Aren't some of those guys like hardened fucking veterans though?
Veterans of what?
Well, I don't know. They've been fighting for a long time.
Against who?
I don't know. like
There's been a lot of
Russian
fighting in the
teenagers.
east and like those eastern provinces for a long time. Like
As they were
They'll
killing their
just-
own countrymen? Yeah,
they're
I
gonna
guess.
go until the country's a graveyard. Like because
Not
the
yet
April
to the last Ukrainian.
the April, it's like the Winston Churchill thing. Like there's no body count he won't accept. But April, after the war started, like they were talking about like, let's have some peace talks. And Boris Johnson's like, nope. Blinken, like Secretary of State for Biden, he's like, nope.
Yeah.
So
if Trump gets elected, that's when the war. That's when the war. That's when the war ends.
Okay, so what happens?
It just keeps going until Trump gets elected.
Okay, so what happens? What happens in the next election? Like they're trying to keep Trump out with that.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know.
They want him to get assassinated.
I'm talking about the conditioning and pre-programming that comes with the film Civil War. It's going to be the greatest fucking psyop and the highest grossing movie of 2024. I fucking guarantee it.
So is it literally just like a modern Civil War movie?
Yes. It's
What?
about America, like the whole. It all comes down to like
people spin it, right? They're
no.
like,
There's
just
an
try to-
8-second. There's an 8-second clip that sums up that fucking movie, and it's just these like liberal looking fucking people talking to some redneck looking guy with a gun, and they're like, we're Americans," and he goes, "What kind of Americans?" And boom, Civil War, and I'm like, dude, I'm in.
Might be pretty good.
I'm in, dude. Like that's pornography to me.
Yeah.
Isn't it like some leftist movie?
Yeah, it will be, dude. It's going to be in theaters everywhere. What do you think this is? The Sound of Freedom? Of course, the good guys are going to fucking win. The ones who aren't the inbred right wing, fucking
But isn't it like
rednecky,
California and Texas secede or something?
something like that. Like who cares?
This is like now I remember it. This is the Civil War movie that's like it's like contemporary. It's
Yeah.
not like about this
Dude.
I was actually excited because I was like, remember The Patriot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mildly
It's
entertaining.
cheesy, but it was.
I like the low
it was
rent.
okay at
I
the
like
time.
the low rent version of that, The Postman.
Oh, that wasn't as
That
good.
was widely panned, but I liked it when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I
it was
liked
cool.
Kevin Costner.
He's good in there.
I thought he was just one of those guys I could connect with.
I just don't think that Kevin Costner has the raw like charisma and appeal of Joe Don Baker, who starred in Mitchell.
Mitchell, the greatest film of all time.
Mitchell. Mitchell. Hearts pumping, veins throbbing. Mitchell.
Dude, I think that's predictive programming. I think people are going to love that fucking movie, and it's going to amp people up to fever pitch. Come on.
I think there's just gonna be a big
I think
react.
if Trump does get elected in November, I think there will be like mass violence.
Naked violence in the streets.
I think there will be.
Do you think the right will actually react to that violence, or will they sit around and just be like, "We're not looters"?
That's what I don't know, but I think I think the left's so fired up about it, and they have their like street warriors, like their leftoid street gangs, like Antifa and BLM and stuff, and they will be unleashed, and then there will be some encounters with people who don't like it.
Trump's
But
such
in a lot of ways, people
Trump's
like
such a
keep their
pussy.
heads down.
This is so. As I play this scene out in my mind, this isn't going to matter. Trump, like they will lose. Trump will be like, stand back and stand by. Like you go home. Like the election's over, and then spend the next 4 years talking about how it got fucking stolen from you. Like you're full of fucking
He doesn't
shit.
have the follow through to crush
He
the
doesn't have the-
leftist
Yeah,
mob.
and here's the big problem.
What if he does though?
Well, and so this is
Well, if he does, then that'll be wild. But I don't.
Civil War.
I think he's still caught in the frame, and
We can talk about this.
he's there to submit to the left. Even though they hate him and they think he's like this existential threat to
He wants their
humanity.
love.
Ultimately, he's not a huge threat because it's sort of like the thing I was talking about with Danielle Smith before. It's not so much what Trump's going to do; it's like how the system reacts to him.
Anybody who can move people is a threat. You know what I mean?
Well, he has a lot of diehard loyalty,
If
and
he said, "Get out
the
there."
whole thing with Trump. Like, if you talk to people or if you look at what people say who are like kind of diehard Trump guys, and they're like, "Oh, it was the election was stolen from him, or his presidency was stolen." Like, it's not so much that they focus on some of the little vote counting stuff. It's like a bigger thing. It's like how the whole system worked against him, like with the
Yeah, it
courts,
was a grand
the
conspiracy.
media, the FBI and the DNC with their Steele dossier and all this like stuff. And like officials lying about what they knew and where they got it from and things. And that's what they think of as like it was stolen from him. And they have some sense that like the system is really against them. And in some way, Trump is like their guy. He's like the proxy for them. So
Like how
I think they're I mean, I don't know what that translates into for 2024, but it's obviously a different situation than 2016, different situation than 2020. And so if he comes back and he wins, which seems definitely possible, which is why I think, again, like the leftist narrative is trying and hoping and trying to motivate some kook to just go take him out. I think they just love that.
He can't win because this ends badly for everybody.
Trump isn't dumb enough to be oblivious to the fact that his very survival depends on getting in to put a stop to his prosecution. Like he was in for 4 years and he was going to like drain the swamp, but you know, like he didn't lock up Hillary. Like he didn't actually like gut the deep state that he knew was against him. Hold on,
they're good people.
I mean, and that's terrible. So if he doesn't realize his mistake and he gets in again, here's what I think is going to happen. Okay, whether or not he gets in, I'm dubious because I think that the system's totally rigged against him. I don't think they're going to let him get in. I think the rot is too deep.
How'd they let him in to begin with then?
They weren't properly prepared. They were too complacent. Now,
That's right.
2020, they took care of that. 2024, I think they're also fortified against it.
I think so as well. And here's the whole thing: is
they're already in like super panic mode, and it's almost a year away.
But so is Trump, and he's fighting for survival. And this is why this is going to be a fevered kind of like final confrontation. So if Trump gets in and he doesn't cut through the swath and start the purge, he's fucked. He's going to go to jail for the rest of his life. Like it's over.
Based on the people that
he needs to get. Sorry to interrupt, but he needs super powerful allies. Like if he's up, say you think he's like a true outsider and he's like up against the system, and he's everything that the apparatus says he is. So like an existential threat to them.
Democracy.
Democracy or like all these things.
He's a horrible judge of character. He appoints fucking morons. He doesn't have powerful friends because because it's not fashionable to be there.
That's what I was going to say. He needs to. So, you know, there's like, I guess you could say like these corporate overlord, like whatever, that they don't necessarily care who's in charge. Just they want, you know, their benefit or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you could have the Trump state, but he has to bring in those powerful people. So he has to like offer them something. He has to like, the system would support him if there was something in it for them.
Kennedy's biggest problem was not firing the head of the CIA and the FBI the day one that he fucking joined. If you look at the people that Trump has appointed to those very, very powerful positions, time after time, they've turned on him. They fucking wrote books about how they fucking deceived them. Like, he's a cuck. He's a fucking cuck. But here's why he's fucking dangerous. If he doesn't win, okay, things will kind of trundle on, and that like right-wing kind of fomentation will just sit for another 4 years, and they'll go, oh, you know, he was kind of a cuck anyways. If he wins, they have to, you could say, oh, they have to kill him. But they said that about the Gracchi brothers. And they're not, like,
I don't think they're going to kill him.
They can cut off his head and throw it in the river.
They don't need to kill him, but they'd love for a kook to go kill him.
Yo, if he fucking has Twitter, and he, like, most of these things, you know, it's fucking coming down, dude. So all he has to go is, if they fucking kill me, burn this place to the ground. And every right winger will just like finally have their like small town fucking glory moment where they get to go out there and kill with abandon.
But I think the days of like the, you know, like the Minuteman, like like Revolution and like American Revolution, Civil War kind of thing, those are over.
No, it's not a revolution. It's basically putting leftists to the fucking...
No, the trans military will come in with their tampons in the men's bathroom, and they'll drone you.
Well, these people, like, how many people in the military loves Trump, dude? Do you think?
No, they don't.
The ones, no, like the soldiers.
I think the soldiers do.
Yeah, the soldiers love them. And just because you have 20 generals that say, I'm going to court martial and fucking do whatever to any fucking person who doesn't mow down this mob of people, they're going to say, that's my neighbor. I'm not fucking doing this.
So do you guys think he's going to get in or not?
He can't.
Yeah, I kind of think the system like is so geared towards him not getting in. And even if there's some formal sense that he wins, like there's
machinery that'll remove him.
or neutralize him in some way, or like the media is already saying like, oh, we got to convince like the military upper echelon to like ignore him. It's like, well, they already do that. And
yeah, like what could you say about Trump in the next 6 months that is going to change your opinion about Trump?
But this is the big problem,
would have
right?
the only way he could kind of do something is like a serious purge, and that's what I'm saying. Would he do that? So that would be like expropriating your enemies, arresting your enemies, like Franco kind of stuff, right?
Doesn't matter what he like. So that doesn't like what he's going to do. So the question is like, can he get in? And yeah, they have no more ammo. They've blown it all. Everything you could say against
they can always
Trump.
find more ammo.
There's no like the steel. Like everyone will just go, oh yeah, just like the Russian piss tapes. Like whatever, get out of here. Like he's a Russian agent.
I still want to watch those.
I always thought they might have like they
like an Epstein tape.
For some reason, I just got
Maybe they have an Epstein.
This thing like if you wanted to put the screws to him, you threaten like his family and stuff. And I thought like for some reason I always thought Jared Kushner would probably have.
Some ghosts.
It's like in Washington, you can pretty much find something to go after somebody with. Interestingly, certain things are like not challenged. But Jared Kushner, I always thought like, I bet you if you wanted to keep Trump in line, you just like go after the son-in-law. So poor Ivanka's husband is like, oh, well, you can do this, but we've got some real dirt on Jared Kushner or something. He's like, okay, I won't be so bad.
He's not
for some reason, like Jared Kushner just has that sort of Damien Antichrist kind of vibe to him. And it seems like he's probably got all kinds of shady business things going on.
When Netanyahu visits the United States, he stays at Kushner's house. So those are the kind of people he rolls with. So I don't think you can go after that guy at all.
Oh yeah, maybe not. So yeah, I don't know. Like,
there's nothing you can say to fucking tar and feather Trump.
That's the thing. So Trump puts in all his enemies in positions of power based on Ivanka's recommendations. Puts people who hate him and will openly defy him in positions of authority. And then he's got like bureaucrats that he should just fire. He fired one guy, which was Comey.
Yeah.
Realistically, like he should gut the whole thing. And I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that because the national security system can probably destroy you one way or another if you push too hard on them, like they tried to. But he didn't really push back very hard, like at all. If he did, they would have pushed back harder as well. And basically I think he was still basically playing a fair game with them. It's like, oh, I'll be exonerated and then it'll all be okay.
So what happens? But it's different from the first time around because if he gets in for another 4 years,
it's not a prank anymore
and does nothing.
It's not a prank.
Well, this is the whole thing is he kind of he had an opportunity to do exactly what they're doing to him, to the people who are doing it to him.
Yeah.
The first time around, and he didn't.
So the real question is, what if it wasn't stolen? What if people in America just don't believe in Trump the way that we perceive that they do? Like the people that like Trump.
I don't perceive that. Yeah, the hardcore Trump people think like he's more popular than he is.
Yeah.
I'd agree. The biggest issue with the stolen election thing is, and I had a pretty vigorous discussion with this during the car exploding oil on my driveway incident, which I won't go into here. But with a trusted senior advocate who clearly doesn't like Trump. And I found that it was very difficult to convince him that Biden was just as bad as Trump. So like people kind of get like geared into this like jersey wearing thing where they're like, oh, I hate Trump. And it doesn't matter, like to the exclusion of all other wrongs of their, like the people who are wearing their jersey, or people are like, yeah, fuck Brandon, or whatever. To the exclusion of all the like, strongman kind of dictatorial tendencies of Trump. Like I really
we want him to do that though. He just didn't.
But here's the issue: is I think that no matter where we're headed, I think that the States is already more authoritarian than people realize. I think Canada's gone down the same path.
Mm-hmm.
I think, there's a total illusion that there's any, democratic values. Not that those are something to aspire to, but...
No, these are democratic values. It's what we were warned about as far back as Plato and Aristotle. Like, democracy turns into authoritarian hell.
The Athenians should go fight the Persians. We took a vote and we're going to go.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't think that there would ever actually be like a live, hot civil war in the States.
No.
You'll have like low-level skirmishes in certain places, like street fighting. Weimar Republic
We've
stuff.
already had that though.
Yeah, and I think that'll continue and
pretty
just escalate.
one-sided. Like, remember when Charlottesville was seen as like the greatest act of like domestic terror in recent memory?
It's so bizarre that people see these events like one thing that I've previously gotten hung up with other people in kind of debates about Trump and stuff is the January 6th stuff, and I don't understand how people can focus on January 6th and be like, this is an existential threat to freedom and democracy, when in the same breath they've got no criticism of like rioting that basically burned down dozens of American
exactly
cities.
why, because different rules for different people, and it's like it's not a debate. There's not a consistent principle. This is the privileged class. Yeah, they can riot, they can destroy your neighborhoods. The underprivileged class are terrorists, and anything they do to protest is evil. It's like the trucker convoy thing. You can shut down a bridge as a Hamas protest, but you can't
and the cops
shut
will
down.
bring you coffee.
Yeah,
dude, what a great fucking clip.
So I mean, I guess my biggest frustration is how are normal people not enraged by that? Like this has to have been have happened over the centuries,
because it doesn't deserve their rage.
normal people also are, we can't overestimate their moral character or their intelligence or their just awareness of the issues that's in play. It's,
or like the complacency
most of them
because
have to
they're
be,
watching Netflix.
the average person has to be kind of directed by an elite influence.
Someone's got to give me the Coles notes before I can have an opinion on these things.
Like Andrew Coyne or like Don Braid. Like you read the...
Yeah, I get my
Edmonton
marching
Journal
orders from Don Braid.
Yeah, like I only trust Don.
Have you read the recent work of great political philosopher Don Braid?
I mean, he did
riveting.
he's clearly neutral because he did a very strong critique of how the NDP could maybe pick a new leader. I mean, I just read him and I'm just inspired, to be a better person.
I think he's
and,
a really good example of a sensible Canadian.
he's a good writer. He's reasonable,
sensible
totally
Canadian.
balanced and unbiased. And, like his fedora is just, it's nice.
It's called a quirk. You should try being a little more quirky.
How does Don Braid have a fucking job? Like, that's what I
Subsidies.
Don Braid should be stripped naked and sent to the Amazon jungle.
Just
Subsidies.
Would he keep his job if he made it back though?
I'd watch a reality.
what if
We should
What
see
if
if we
what
can
if
get
he's
him on
like
that for an interview.
What if he's like a
I
Hemingway?
bet we could.
What if he's like a Hemingway, dude? You want to talk about what a great writer he is? Maybe he just has a car, like a fucking plane crash, and then wanders out of the jungle one day with a bottle of scotch and a fucking machete. And then you're like, well, can't kill Don Braid. He's an idea.
Okay, so predictions, and I know they're probably going to age like old moldy cheese, but give me your predictions. Winner of U.S. election 2025.
Biden.
Is it 20 or is it 2024? It's 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's in
that's this year.
October.
I would say similar to 2020. Like Biden will barely win, and it'll look very suspicious.
They're going to have a debate. They're going to fill Biden up full of fucking amphetamines
I
like they
can't
did
wait.
last time, dude. Like he was juiced.
But he's not
It's 4
going
years
to live
later.
another 4 years. Okay, so here's my prediction.
Doesn't matter.
I'm just, and I tend to agree. I think that the apparatus is already just. I think the fix is in, so to speak. But just to be a contrarian, I'm just going to predict that Trump will take it.
I'd love to pick Trump, but it's like, fuck.
I'm not into either of them. Like I think
You're
they're
not
both like.
riding with Biden.
I'm black, so I have to go with Biden. Sorry.
Okay. Well. Okay. So
You're riding with Biden.
okay.
No.
So Canadian election predictions, because this is kind of looking.
We're never going to have another election.
just Trudeau for like the next.
I think
forever.
I think liberals will get smoked.
I hope
like rolled in smoke.
I think they'll be back down to below NDP like they were in like the Mulcair days. Because remember when NDP was official opposition for a little while?
No.
Because the liberals just got smoked when Harper was in, and they had
I got
Mulcair.
crushed.
Yeah, I do remember
Dude,
that.
remember when
Similar to
Reform-
Ontario, like Kathleen Wynne's liberals got wiped. And
They let them stay on the ballot. They lost party status. And then the conservatives were like, no, keep them. It's okay.
Oh, that's brutal. Like
Dude,
no
crush-
mercy. man.
crush
No, yeah, you gotta have
Dude,
no mercy.
What's with conservatives and just being like utter pussies?
They don't understand the existential threat that the left poses to them. They think it's just
Because this is just a difference.
Part of the
it's just
system.
a healthy debate.
There's a difference of ideas. At the end of the day, we're all Canadians, aren't we?
Yeah, we're all Canadians, aren't we? It's like, no, some people think certain Canadians need to be removed.
What kind of Canadian are you? Dude, it's Civil War.
I see like
line,
I see
line.
even like just like on Twitter, like some like kind of like middle-aged like woman that looks like a librarian on Twitter, and it's like, Ukraine in the Ukraine flag and pronouns, and they say some of the most vile shit I have ever fucking seen in my life.
Single moms are the most based fucking political bloc you'd ever imagine. I have like my buddy works at the city. He works with a bunch of divorced middle-aged moms.
Oh, they're hard.
And they say the most rank shit, dude. That was they're hardcore. And I was like, wait a second.
Some aren't based, they're just like vile commies, and they just have no idea. They're like, oh, the CBC told me that this is the compassionate stance.
Just a comment on like the moral indignation of some of these people who preach tolerance and diversity and like inclusion, like these things that you don't have to do anything to feel better. Like, I'm a good person because I tolerate people. Being a good person obviously requires doing something. The left has kind of reframed it so they don't have to do anything other than just kind of have the right attitudes that they've defined. It's very easy, very comfortable to be the good person and not have to do anything about it. Pretty convenient.